Schwarz. Booster Pack Animation Sword Art Online 10th Anniversary, now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The Kansen of Azur Lane join the battle on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Trial decks and Booster Pack Azur Lane, now on sale. Bushiroad.
Shadowverse, which took the world by storm, greets a second dawn. As a trading card game. Arise, warriors. Be anointed in light, and soar towards a horizon more brilliant than you've ever seen before. Shadowverse Evolve. Build a deck to conquer a new age. Choose from 6 classes. Swordcraft, Runecraft, Dragoncraft, Forestcraft, Havencraft. And the Shadowverse Evolve Original, Abysscraft. Further bolster your forces with cards from the versatile neutral class, and grow your power beyond reckoning. Storm the battlefield with powerful followers, or control the tides with masterful spells. The future glows at your fingertips. It is time for the newest chapter of our long, ever-shifting story. Shadowverse Evolve.
Cardfight Vanguard. I sever and manifest causality. Boldly cast to the side this feeble, unstable world. Booster Pack Evenfall Onslaught. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Witness the strongest band together on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Arifureta, from commonplace to world's strongest. Trial deck and Booster Pack. On sale November 17th. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. The Stage Girl Silver Screen Review is now a card game on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Review Starlight, the movie Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The love story revolving the quintuplets once again comes to the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The quintessential quintuplets movie Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
It's a grade 11? Can Team Wildress create a new future? Booster Pack, Flight of Chakrabarthi. Bushiroad.
Ingenious supplies.
Weiss Schwarz. Water, earth, fire, air. Join Aang and his friends in their adventure to master the 4 elements and defeat Fire Lord Ozai, Avatar The Last Airbender, Trial Deck Plus, Booster Pack, and Supply Set. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Experience the full-blown high school story on the stage of Weiss Schwarz once again. Saikano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend Flat Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Cardfight Vanguard! Encounters with heroes! Stories that will shake your soul are waiting for you! Booster Pack, Clash of the Heroes! Bushiroad!
Weiss Schwarz. The Academy was the Girls' Orchard. The popular visual novel series joins the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The fruit of Grisaya Trial Deck and Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The name of Eins Oregon continues to expand on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Booster Pack Nazarick Tomb of the Undead Volume 2. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
For our fellow card fighters and Saniwa, your powerful Token Danshi will be making a return in Token Rumble Online 2023. Look forward to brand new mechanics that will grant them new strength and power in their Kiwame forms. Do bugs bug you? I sure hope not, because we'll be descending into the insect kingdom with Mushi King. Watch out for these super powered insects crawling your way into Booster Pack 13, Flight of Chakrabarti. What do you dream of when you dream of duets? I dream of Yume no Kesho. These collaboration promo cards with the Bang Dream AI singing synthesizer feature Poppy and Rose and will be available at the upcoming Bushiroad Expo Asia, Singapore 2023. For our international viewers, these promo cards will also be available at your local game stores. Stay tuned to our social media channels to find out how you can redeem these promo cards. And here's the recap for Cardfight Vanguard.
Weiss Schwarz. Begin a new story with the girls on the stage of Weiss Schwarz once again. Review Starlight Relive Booster Pack. Coming soon. Bushiroad.
Are you dreaming of becoming the world champion? Don't let your dreams be dreams. Take part in the upcoming World Invitational 2023 Last Chance Qualifiers for, well, one last chance to qualify for the World Finals. The Last Chance Qualifiers will be open to all participants except those who have already earned a sponsored invite to the World Finals. I know many of you are raring to go, so here are the locations where the Last Chance Qualifiers will be held.
Weiss Schwarz. It's time to show off the best performance on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Intro Deck and Booster Pack, Bang Dream, Girls Band Party, 5th Anniversary. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
A world with magic and science, parallel universe bathed in crimson, a magical high school, a virtual reality MMORPG world. It's time to take a trip down memory lane with Dengeki Bunko. Nostalgic titles like A Certain Magical Index, Shakugan no Shana, The Irregular at Magic High School, Sword Art Online, and many more are making a comeback with new illustrations. With 51 titles included in the set, there's definitely something for everyone. For our Bang Dream fans, Trials Deck Plus Bang Dream My Goal will also be performing on a Weiss Schwarz stage near you. The set features new illustrations that fans will want to add to their existing collections. Let's count down to the party! Premium Booster Bang Dream Girls Band Party Countdown Collection will also be performing on a stage to celebrate their 6th anniversary with glittering illustrations of your favorite Bang Dream girls. Don't miss out on this chance to update your collection with these new cards. From one idol to the next. You hear those?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to BRO 2023 for the premium format. This is the final BRO of the year on the final day with the final region. So this is the very, very last BRO for this year. Very glad you all could be here today. I, of course, am a TIE Fighter here. Very happy to be here. And I will also introduce, or let my co-casters introduce themselves. I'll throw it to Deck Flare first. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, gamers? I'm Deck Flare. This will be my first top 8 for BRO I'm casting, and I'm really excited. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of cool decks, and yeah.
And I am Outer Orange, and this is not my first time casting, but I'm always happy to be here with y'all. And I guess it's always a pleasure to have Deck Flare with us as well here today. And can't wait to see this top 8. We got some really awesome decks. It's been a very spicy time. We had a really awesome day 1. I hope everyone was there for that. But now we're here in day 2. We got to find out who the first place person is going to be.
Yeah, I think you put it really well. We did have our Swiss yesterday, 7 rounds, and saw a lot of very interesting decks. But we'll get to looking at those decks here in a moment. But first, let's just kind of go over the schedule for today. I'll throw it to Deck Flare here to go over that.
So yesterday we did a 7-round best of 1 Swiss. And today we are finishing out with top 8, everything's best of 1, and yeah, going over the prizes next.
All right. In case you don't remember, I will remind you once more, if you get 4th place today, you get a certificate. If you get 3rd place, you get a 1 winner PR card, which is the Chronojet card, by the way. Everybody loves Chronojet. And you get a booster display and a certificate. If you get 2nd place, you get 2 winner PR cards, 1 booster display, and a certificate. And if you take it all today, you get an entire playset of the Chronojet, 1 booster display, and the certificate. But we also got to remind you how to play the format. So we're going to show you guys the format video right now.
Will be played in the premium format, and we can't wait to get started and see all the exciting plays and unique deck ideas that the players will be bringing. Before we jump into it, let's brush up on what makes the premium format unique and what you can expect to see today. In the premium format, players bring not only their constructed 50-card main deck, but it is also accompanied by a G-Zone, an additional 16 cards composed of various cards that aid you throughout the game and can be accessed easily. Unlike the standard format, the decks are built around one of the 24 different clans that belong to the nations that you may be familiar with through Overdress. The 2 types of cards that you will find in the G-Zone are Strides and G-Guardians. Strides are cards that have a red border around them and are various warriors that come from either the past or the future of the Planet Krei setting. Strides have a power value, a cost that must be paid if you wish to access the stride, as well as the effects of the card. In order to stride, you have to meet one of the following conditions. The first is if both you and your opponent have a grade 3 Vanguard, then after the ride step, there is the stride step. This is where you can choose to pay the cost of stride, which is typically to discard cards in your hand whose grades add up to 3 or higher. There are also special grade 1 and grade 0 cards that are regarded as grade 3s in your hand when you discard them for stride, which you will see quite often. After you pay this cost, you can choose one of the face down strides in your G-Zone and place it on top of your existing Vanguard on the Vanguard circle, turning the card under the stride into a heart card. This is the process of striding. Now the stride will inherit the original power and card name of the chosen heart, thus combining the 15,000 power of the stride with the card underneath it, thus totaling 28,000. At the end of turn, the stride card will return to the G-Zone face up, and your Vanguard returns to its former state from the beginning of the turn. The other approach to striding is when you have spent at least one turn on your grade 3 Vanguard, thus starting your turn at grade 3 even if your opponent hasn't ridden their grade 3 yet. There are some decks in Premium that are able to jump ahead and superior ride to stride earlier, so make sure to keep this in mind. Strides have a variety of powerful abilities that help the player adapt to any situation, so make sure to use this powerful toolbox called the G-Zone alongside the cards in your main deck of 50 cards. There are two special types of strides in addition to the regular forms we've seen so far: Progenitor Dragons and Zeroth Dragons. These cards are unique in that they do not belong to a single clan, but rather encompass the entire nations that the clans belong to, such as Dragon Empire or Stargate, otherwise known as Brandgate as well. These symbolize the beginning and the end, either bringing additional life to your game plan or putting everything on the line to finish it all. In order to stride a Progenitor Dragon, a player must discard a card with the same name as their Vanguard. The Progenitor Dragons each have unique abilities, but one shared ability is that after they have returned to the G-Zone face up, they will allow you to stride without paying the cost for stride for the rest of the game. The Zeroth Dragons also require you to discard a card with the same name as your Vanguard in order to stride them, but they have an additional restriction needing to have at least 3 face-up cards in your G-Zone to stride, thus making them quite the late game finishers. Be careful though, when you stride with a Zeroth Dragon, your entire G-Zone will be removed from the game, leaving you with your 50 card main deck, so be sure to time these finishes well. As previously mentioned, strides aren't the only type of cards encompassing your 16 card G-Zone. G-Guardians are a powerful defensive mechanic which is also brought to the playing field from the G-Zone. All G-Guardians have a green border as pictured and are called using the same method at all times. During your opponent's battle phase, one of your opponent's units attacks and you would be able to guard while both players' Vanguards are grade 3. You may discard a heal trigger from your hand to choose to face down G-Guardian from your G-Zone and call into the Guardian Circle. G-Guardians have various abilities that either bolster your defense or interrupt your opponent's plays, making them a key factor in any player's game plan in the Premium format. There are plenty of other incredible mechanics and types of abilities that make Premium unique and exciting, whether it be Generation Break, Legion, Limit Break, Imaginary Gifts, and many of the other unique mechanics that have been introduced to the game throughout the years. You can even make a Premium deck out of the recent Overdress decks. Just keep in mind, there is no Rye deck in this format. That's all for this brief explanation of the Premium format. Let's wish all the participating players today the best of luck, and we hope that all of you watching at home enjoy the show.
Alrighty, so we got the format explanation out of the way. So we know exactly what we're going to be doing here today, and we also have our top 8 lists as well, so that we can go over the decks that are going to be competing today to battle it out for that top spot, and we can go ahead and we'll start doing some deck review for our top 8 players here.
All right, looks like we're starting off with a Link Joker deck. I'll leave it to y'all. I think you guys might know a little bit more. I just know there's a freeze ray right there, and he looks amazing.
Yeah, I think this is the deck that we saw yesterday, if I'm remembering right.
I think so too. Yeah.
Ended up in that. We'll list the matchup. A bit of an interesting gameplay that we saw already from this player. You know, really kind of battling through some hard resource denial. But you know, Chaos just gonna do Chaos things. Dexler, do you have any thoughts on this list? I don't know if you were casting with us when this deck came up.
I was not casting, but I was watching in the background, and the one interesting thing in this deck is the Starvader Strange Dragon. I haven't really seen this in most lists, so I'm interested to see if it does come up today.
Yeah, pretty interesting tech there. And why don't we go ahead and take a look at the G deck while we're here.
All right, we got the G zone, very, very standard G zone. We saw quite a bit of it. I'm pretty sure this was the last round that we were watching. So the same list, if I remember correctly. And they actually strode a lot. So
Yeah.
especially since that was the one matchup where no striding should have been happening. So we got a chance to see some of the action happen. A lot of the we saw like the one guy with the current attack cake come out, and I don't know much else. I don't know if you guys have any other input on this G zone.
I think we kind of went over it yesterday because this is like, I mean, honestly, this is a pretty standard chaos G deck. I want to say it's gonna do chaos things, you know.
Yep, basically a normal one. The only thing is he's only running 2 glue ball dragon, so it looks like he's playing an extra cosmic dawn and something else in there. But yeah, overall it's pretty normal.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next deck. Ah, the deck that stole my heart yesterday.
You know, why don't you gush about it a little more there, Orge? Because I was in the background when this was on stream, and so I'm curious to know what we got here.
So we have a Celestial deck that did show up on stream yesterday. So just to give a small recap, this is I like to call it like a miniature Celestial loop. It's not infinite or anything like that, but basically you take the gray 2 there. It's an old card. It's the only like really old card in here, I would say. And basically you loop that card, be looking at top 4, keep bottom decking, top 4, keep bottom decking. You're basically just going through your deck and constantly putting cards in your damage zone with your pieces, and then you bring those cards back to hand. It's very consistent, actually. You use the other cards to basically either swap cards or draw cards or take damage, and then you set up for stride where you have the guard restrict active, and then once you have the guard restrict active, you basically just go in for really big numbers, and usually your stack should be relatively covered with triggers. So usually your stack will just be a bunch of triggers, and you just win the game off of that because your opponent can't PG it, so they just eat it, and then suddenly they're taking 5 damage.
Very cool, very cool. Declan, do you have any insight on this list?
Yeah, it looks like Orange basically covered all. The other interesting part is the Lamido, where you can give Sentinel Restrict to basically anything. So since you're thinning out your deck to basically just triggers, stacking it to the way you want, then the Lamido making it Sentinel Restrict, having Zothkyle give a ton of power to your front row is just really oppressive and can just one-shot people out of nowhere.
Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the G deck for this list as well.
Well, I have it open. So while we're waiting on that, the G deck basically is the Zothkyle. So Zothkyle we have at 4, and basically she's like the main go-to stride as she lets you get drive checks and power. And while we're doing that, there's also the Gavriel. Gavriel's another really good Gavriel Eden specifically to go into. Obviously, we have the Messiah being run, and then we also have the Glands for G guards, and then we have the Suriel for G guards as well. And then we also have a fun little Celestial card called Holy Celestial Ragiel. Just another way to just kind of apply some pressure and aggro, but definitely the main focus here, and I want to say it very loudly, Holy Sarath Zothkyle. This is one of the newer cards that came out for the premium stride. Very, very impactful card. It's definitely what's showing up, what's making Angel Feather have a better, stronger stride turn. And there it is. There's the G zone.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, no, that I can echo a lot, because while I don't play Celestials, I have played a bit of Gavriel in the past, and that Zothkyle is such a good card, just giving lots of power, lots of drive checks. It's a very, very fun card, and appeals to my Nova Grappler, specifically Bustard loving heart there. I guess Declan, if you have anything to add here on this list.
I think you guys covered it all. Everything looks really smooth and simple, and just Zothkyle is a really good card for this clan.
I think that's the one thing that we all very loudly agree on there. But I think we should be ready to check out our third deck here for this top 8. And here we have a Narukami list, something that I don't think we saw at all in Swiss yesterday, but we do see it making a couple of placements here in top 8. It looks like, yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and start off here. You know, it's Narukami. It is very aggressive. very controlling, binds your pieces, and swings in for game really, really fast. If you guys have any insights here onto Narukami, either you know, as a player of the clan, or maybe just someone who's been on the other side of it, as I'm sure we all have at one point or another.
Yeah, so the restriction list choice restricted the Demolition Dragon and the Sweep Command Dragon. So I was really interested to see how these Narukami decks would adapt. And it looks like this one put Chain Bolt Dragon in the place of Demolition Dragon. So instead of having that on-hit draw, you have a on-ride search top 7 for Vanquisher. And yeah, everything else just looks pretty normal. Narukami is just Narukami. It'll do its thing basically every time.
Yep, I agree. I was actually gonna say the same thing. I think the ban list is definitely the big difference here. No demolition. We're still keeping the sweep here for this deck. I think Narukami people are just definitely probably going back and forth figuring out which one's better. But either way, I think this list is overall like just pretty standard, just a sweep command edition without the demo.
Yeah, I think the sweep command just probably a little bit too integral of a piece to want to swap out in a list like this. But I do think that Chain Bolt is an interesting shout here too, because we do have the Vanquishers in here, what with History Collection kind of giving a buff to that, just kind of giving you access and searching for another going first play, which is very cool. But let's go ahead and we can take a look at the G deck for this Narukami deck here. And you know, yet again, I think we're looking at some pretty standard Narukami things here. We've got the one of Stunverse there, which was limited, I believe, last year or perhaps earlier this year. And the Exterminate's there as well. Exterminate, just a very powerful card for this deck. Just makes your front row very big. And then the History Collection errated strides as well, just for those the Vanquisher play. You guys have anything to add on this G deck? Or
I do want to pinpoint the Closer Dragon specifically as that card. I know it's a GBA card, but it actually, funnily enough, just completely board wipes decks like Revere because it goes around Freya. I think that's a very smart thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind when you're playing into decks that directly counter you. But that's about the main thing I have to say. Declar, do you have anything?
No, just looks like a pretty typical G zone for the most part. The triple impede is really good though, and being able to shut down a lot of powerful turns.
Yes, I agree.
I've also had some experience running the triple impede, because that really can kind of make that Closer Dragon, like you mentioned, Orange, live a lot earlier than some people expect.
Yes.
I've definitely ruined some Grand Blue players' days before with that Closer Dragon. So, you know,
thing's disgusting.
Yeah, it might be a GB8, but if you're not careful, you might see it on second stride sometimes.
Yes.
More than once.
The G flip is insane.
Alrighty. Well, that's Narukami there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next deck for the top 8 here. And it's another Narukami. I don't know if we need to spend too much more time talking about Narukami. There are some changes here, though.
Yeah, there we have the Phoenix, we have Honolly. The other one, I don't remember exactly precisely what I had. Didn't have roll. Okay, so yeah, this one just has a little bit more defensive options than the Forbidal. But I think otherwise they're not too. The game point is about the same. The defense options and the what you want to search for is just a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure. The Rising Phoenix is a little bit interesting because you're able to get some free units out to make up for the loss of the draw from Demolition Dragon. And you're able to more easily fill up a board for Exterminate to power up. But yeah, everything else looks pretty normal.
Yeah, I think that's probably like the most interesting thing between these two lists, because obviously there are very similar, but there are some slight adjustments in them, mainly being, I think, just how these decks are kind of working around the choice restriction between Sweep Command and Demolition. We see, again, opting to keep the Sweep Command and then just kind of choosing some different pieces here. And I think it's interesting because I do notice that this player is running the G Thunder or Mighty Bolt Dragoon. So just to kind of instead of running that chain bolt dragoon to search top 7, we have an alternate way to kind of search there. So it's interesting how these players are kind of adapting to that. And I think the Forbidal is kind of an interesting pick here as well. Probably just a way to kind of get some more access to the Esperadiers, I would say.
Yeah, 100%.
Is a very, very important and very, very aggressive piece in this deck. But with that said, let's go ahead and we can take a look at the G deck for this list as well. But spoiler, I don't know if I'm going to expect it to be too different. And
it's a little different.
Slightly different.
It's got the Vanquisher VMAX in it, so that's a little bit of an addition that I'm not used to seeing personally. But otherwise, I think that's actually the only difference, with the exception of ratios.
Yeah, I think that the Vanquisher stride here, because I'm trying to honestly, I feel bad, but a lot of times the Vanquisher strides kind of like blur together and look the same to me. But yeah, most things here are mostly the same. I think a lot of times some of these strides, you know, when you're playing Narukami, you're probably going to go into Exterminate more often than not. But you do have the Stunverse there as well. Honestly, I feel like if you're striding into anything but that Stunverse or that Exterminate, something's probably going wrong, and it's not a good situation to be in.
It depends. Sometimes during specific matchups, you actually want to stride into other things, because there's also the one that deals the damage. Sometimes people like to go into that one too, just to kind of finish the game off. You'd be surprised, but it's still just some decisions to be made besides the two strongest strides in the clan.
That damage dealing one, every now and again, that can just steal a game. That is definitely very, very true.
It's scary.
Yeah.
All right, let's see our next deck. I'm really excited. About halfway through. Hey, it's back.
Hey, we saw this yesterday as well, I believe.
We did, yes.
The DI, not NLK list, which is very, very exciting. Deckfleur, do you have any insight on this? Because I'm not quite familiar with DI decks other than NLK, but
yeah, so this list is mainly built around Shahrat Vampire being your first grade 3 ride. You farm a bunch of soul through Shahrat skill, through Kiss Kill Lyra skill. You get 2 protect markers. And then on the next turn, you try to get to 20 soul for your Gastile and get Hope on Damp in play. Filter your deck to just stand triggers and just have a really oppressive turn where you can basically 0 to 6 a lot of people off of it.
Yeah, we did see some of that action yesterday too, where the opponent just went 2 to 6, and after stalling for literally turns and turns, and they went down. So yeah, very, very aggressive Gastile turns.
Yeah, I remembering that now, watching it in the background, just like all the skills that are stacking up on this deck's kill turn of just all the restrictions it puts on your opponent for guarding and abilities and things. And so it can be very, very scary. It seems like it takes a little bit of time to get there, but very, very well worth it by the looks of it. But I think we're ready to go ahead and take a look at this deck's G deck as well. There we go.
All right, so it's okay. So this G zone actually has got a lot going on. There's a lot of one-ofs in here, just to kind of highlight some. There's Lyra, which is the on hit. Up there it is. So we got Lyra as the on hit there, and then we have the four facts, obviously, just the main staple to kind of finish off games, because you can write it to him basically after Vanguard attacks. And then we do see sometimes the caravans come up. And also honestly, the DI's G zone is just so fun and cool. I love their G zone. There's always something to do.
Yeah, for sure. They have some really cool defensive options with the last G guard being able to minus crit off of multiple units, and St. German being able to give units resist, not just rear guard. So you can give your Vanguard resist if you're in a matchup like Murakumo, where they Shirayuki you a bunch of times minus power. And they have just a lot of really cool defensive tools that they have access to with their G deck.
Yeah, I thought when I first looked at this list, I was slightly confused about the only 1 4 facts. I was like, oh well, isn't that like your main kind of game ending thing, or one of the game ending things? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, well, ideally you only ever need the 1, because the game's going to be over that.
Yeah.
But this, honestly, this is one of the lists that I think I might end up kind of taking and building after this event is over, because it looks very, very cool. But with that, I think we're ready to go ahead and take a look at our next deck. Oh, maybe just a little bit more.
It's okay. It's okay. While we're sitting here waiting, it's fine. I'm actually really excited to see how this Castile player shows off their stuff, because I'm not gonna lie, this deck was really cool to watch. This deck and the Celestial deck are probably my two favorites out of the bunch. But that looks like we got our next deck though, so I'll
here
talk
we
about
are.
it later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is another deck that we saw yesterday, and honestly, Orange, I'm just gonna throw it to you because this is your expertise, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Dang, me? That's crazy. So this one, so yeah, this is Highlander doing Highlander things. This is the standard list. I believe, if I remember correctly, we might have seen this round one. If we didn't, that's okay. The Highlander decks are pretty similar looking. So basically here we have just a standard. You want to ride into Reindeer, and then from Reindeer, you go into a lottery machine, because you don't know what Reindeer is going to spit out off of her top 10. She can spit out like any of the grade 3s or grade 4s, or maybe sometimes nothing. It just kind of depends on what happens. This deck used to be really aggressive into riding back down, but now we don't do that anymore. We actually want to stride into cards like Heltruda. And basically you just want to get to Heltruda as soon as possible. So you just want to farm a bunch of cards, get a bunch of markers, and just go crazy with crit pressure, restands, and just a lot of Vanguard attacks. So we can, I'm not gonna, there isn't anything in here that I think should be highlighted. The side, there's like a lot of one-of picks, but nothing in here is like too out there. There's like the Reese's for like defensive plays. We got the Resist Grade 2 Amelia, just in case things go a little south against Narukami. But overall, it's a pretty standard list. So I think we could go over to the G zone. Unless anyone else has anything.
I don't have anything to add personally. This is outside my realm of expertise. So.
Okay, so I'll just keep going. We do have an added to the Somni, and we noticed that there's a Loris in the first part of the 50 cards part. The reason being is because you can actually just go first, go into Loris, and just play the normal on-hit strat turn, and then get the double force marker, and then after that go into Heltruda if you survive, and just kind of basically end on Heltruda, because you'll have 3 markers, and 3 markers is extremely lethal on a Heltruda turn with Reindeer and everything else. So overall, that's probably the main 2 things. There are a couple side options here. We got the Tira, and we have actually it's just the Tira, Heltruda, and Somni, and we do have the Megiddo as a little backup plan. And then we also obviously just have insane G guards with the Lucrece and the Sandy and the Citron that can add defensive options and also up the Vanguard space, which is also really huge, because you can sit not on a 13K, you can sit on a 23 to 28K base, which is also just a really awesome option to certain decks.
Very cool. Well, yet again, I'm glad to be casting with you, Orange, to have all the Bermuda knowledge for these matchups. So I guess we'll be good just to go right along to our last deck, I believe.
DP.
Ooh. Oh yes. So now here's something I'm a bit more familiar with, because we've whenever there's robots involved, you can count on me to be interested. So far this is like a much more traditional Dimension Police list than we saw yesterday, with like the kind of spicy silhouette list that was on stream. I think like the looking at this, everything's mostly standard from what I can tell. It seems like they're going a little bit hard on the Enigman Calm, at least more so than I feel like I've typically seen in DP lists. But another spicy thing here, I think, is the one of the original Commander Laurel. I'm so used to seeing people, myself included, just going all in on the V Commander Laurel, but sometimes that OG Commander Laurel can bring up some spicy interactions as well. Do you guys have anything to add on this Dimension Police list here?
Yeah, the Enigman Calm is a really cool card I've been seeing in a lot more DP lists recently, because now this deck is able to just farm more defensive shield value into their hand a lot more early. So then they're able to survive a lot easier into the later game, get their Geoma glasses up, and be able to get the high shield value grade 3s. And then, yeah, the original Commander Laurel can be really insane combined with Unibird Galaxy, where that can get to, at minimum, 5 drive checks. And you just swing it out of rear guard it hits, and then you restand it, swing Vanguard, get another 5 drive checks, and you just get a fifth of your deck into your hand instantly.
Yep. Pretty spicy there.
I don't have too much. I just I just like the defensive options that DP does with how aggressive it is. I just think that's just cool, and this deck definitely is displaying that.
Definitely. Well, I think with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the G deck for this list as well. And yeah, that's I think. Well, actually, hold up. There's an interesting tech here in that Super Cosmic Hero X lead, which is not a card I'm really used to seeing here. Looks like let me refresh myself on this because it's been a very long time since I've played this card. Lets you rest rear guards and then choose one of your rear guards until end of turn. Those units in this unit get plus 4K. So interesting kind of piece here. I'm not sure if it really comes up much at all. It could just be filler for all we know, or maybe we'll see some really spicy play that pops up with this. Who knows?
It does have an on-hit attack too, so it has an on-hit skill. Actually. Yeah, so if it's 35k or greater, you draw a card, and if it's 40k or greater, you restand one of your rears.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you could Laurel with it and restand something. Sure, is what I'm getting at. But it's an on-hit.
Pretty fun. Yeah. I think other than that, the main thing to point out is probably those the 4 Geo Maglis. This is exactly what you expect to see. Just a really, really important piece for DP. And then we've got the 2 each of Unibird Galaxy and the X Gallop. Just 2 different game ending options typically. I find. Defo, do you have anything to add on this G zone here?
Yeah, I think I actually really like the X lead because it does have the burst effect. So you could Linka this, and you have a pretty decent chance of this hitting now because of that. And you're able to get 4 easy attacks off of it.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking in that side there. That's actually a really good point. That you can kind of, worst case scenario, you've got some Linka shenanigans there. Very, very cool. I think with that, so there's one more deck. I was slightly mistaken earlier. We do have one more deck.
Before I finish off, I want to say something. I want to say something before. This is Miguel, by the way, the guy that got first place in PR with this deck. So just something to keep in mind. He was first place for the Puerto Rico. He was the champion that went to Worlds last year. So just want to throw that in there before we switch off. I saw them in person. It was really cool.
Very, very cool.
But yeah, now we can go. We can go to
Alrighty, and I think.
Oh hey.
Is
this the same? I'm actually not 100% sure. I think we have. It's not this. It's okay. This isn't. It looks like it might be the right deck. It's actually a different deck. It's okay. While we're waiting, we're our last deck. There it is. Gold's deck. Gurgit.
There we are. Yes, I think we saw this on stream yesterday as well, and we saw it do quite a bit actually. There's like a lot of moving parts in this list that is really, really fun. And I think when we saw it yesterday, it's definitely focused on that kind of like Ultima kill turn, but there's a lot of interesting pieces that can do some very interesting things on this list. If there's anything that stands out to you guys that you want to shout out right quick.
Yeah. I personally really like the Providential Angel. I think that card's hilarious because you can only guard with basically 1 Sentinel, and on Ultima turn that's very lethal. The During, which is the D card, is also just a very popular choice. I'm secretly a big gold stan, so I actually love looking at gold's lists. Reedy's another really, really good option because you just get to like stack your triggers some more, especially with the Ultima. You are very right. This is a very Ultima focused deck. It's got a lot of cards that basically say I'm gonna put these cards down on Ultima turn and try and kill on that same turn.
Yeah, basically all of that. The one interesting tech I do like in here is the Knight of Lucidity Blethen. This is a new card from set 12, and whenever you play it on rearguard, you can last 1, discard 1, choose a rearguard, and your opponent puts all the cards with the same name on rearguard and in their drop zone to the bottom of the deck. So in certain matchups, you are able to just get rid of a bunch of important pieces if they can like revive stuff from the drop zone. So like in the Grand Blue matchup, you can put all the Beatrices, all the skull dragons into bottom, anything like that. And yeah, everything else looks pretty normal.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting tech. I don't think we saw that come up yesterday, but that is a very interesting kind of ability there. And I think, like you mentioned, Orange, that reading, we did see that come up because you like while Ultima stacks 2 triggers on top of your deck, you do have that Reverence Rush Dragon to stack a 3rd. So you're just guaranteeing that you get 3 triggers on the top of the deck, which are going to be powered up by that reading, and then your whole board's going to get very, very massive. It can be very, very scary, especially if you get that Providential Angel on there too. Just a very, very potent game-ending play there, I would say. But yeah, let's go ahead and we can take a look at the G deck for this Golds list as well. Alrighty, and you know, I think we've got the Campbell there shouting out History Collection with all those new erratas. A pretty solid going first play there. And I think we did see a count of 3 of the OG Gurgits to maximize the chance of seeing this and getting those double markers. And then it seems like it's a bunch of just kind of pieces for different situations. We do see the Brambent Dragon, which can create some multi-attacks, get some crit. The Advarius is a pretty fun restanding Vanguard. And then, of course, our old friend Spear-X, who's been around for quite a while in Premium Golds.
Yeah. Yep.
But
it's
yeah,
a Superior Stride.
Yeah, right?
Can't go wrong with that.
Gotta love it. A Superior Stride before everybody had Superior Strides, right?
Yes.
But yeah, is there anything else that looks interesting to you guys here before we get on to taking a look at the bracket?
No, that's mostly everything here is pretty standard, I would say. A lot of the stuff that we would normally see in a Gold's G Zone, I think it's being very, very well presented here.
Yeah, the majority of the time you're going to be going Campbell with a G Guard into Ultima, but with how G Zones usually work, you have a ton of different tech options for a ton of different scenarios if you need to pivot into something else instead of having to go for that same win con every game.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we saw yesterday too, that Campbell into a G Guard into Ultima and then just ended the game right there. And you know, maybe we'll see that play again here in a little bit. But before we get into the actual gameplay, let's go ahead and take a look at our bracket to see who will be facing who as we go into these top 8 games. Alrighty, so starting it off at the top of the bracket, we have Chanel against, forgive me if my Vietnamese isn't great, but I believe it's Nguyen Minh Quang. But you can feel free to correct me in the chat there. And then I'll pass it to Orange to go down the rest of more of the bracket here.
Sure, we got Dylan versus KJ, and then we have, oh boy, let me let me look. is that VJ the moment silly? I think that is.
Yes.
So that's that against Sereth, and then I'll have Declan finish the last one up.
And then we will have Miguel versus Blazing Ragnarok as well.
Awesome. And we're actually going, I believe, straight into the game here for our top 8s. So that's what we're doing here. Let's go, top 8.
Alrighty, and it looks like we have Dylan against KJ here, Narukami versus DI, and I believe that, because I don't think there was only the one Dark Rider, so that is going to be the Gastille list, which I'm very interested to watch here, and then Narukami, which, you know, less interested to see Narukami, but you know, it is what it is. It's a very strong
it's still
deck.
Good deck.
Can't fault anybody. It seems like Dylan is.
Yeah, and this is the Narukami list that was playing the Rising Phoenixes also instead of the Chainbolt Dragons. So I'll be interested to see if he ends up being aggressive with those early on, since they can revive themselves later in the game, or will he preserve them for potential shield early on?
Yeah, I think whenever I'm playing Narukami, I have some lists that do run Rising Phoenix, and that's probably one of my favorite things to do with it. Although I have seen rushing in Narukami just be incredibly, incredibly potent. But being able to kind of like have those 10k shields, being able to guard with them early, but knowing pretty confidently that you're going to get them back to the board and just fill a board with like one bind is also very, very fun as well.
Sounds like Grand Blue.
Yeah, right.
I'm kind of wondering here. So we have a pretty. We're back in this predicament of what does the player versing Gastille do here? Do they choose to deny here, or do they go aggro in? Because Narukami's got a lot of aggression. It can potentially kill before Gastille gets those pop off through. But you're also basically giving them counterblast to work with to then go into their setup faster. So this is going to be interesting how Dylan decides to play this out. If they want to kind of stall a little bit, but still like exterminate and get the aggression going for a late game, or if they want to like hold off, maybe G guard a lot and then go into the GP8. And I think these decisions will definitely dictate this game, kind of like it did with the Dimension Police game we saw yesterday.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's always kind of tricky because you do have an opponent who is going to want to try and have a slower game to get to their big game ending play. But Narukami does have access to some very, very good aggression, especially if things go like the hand is what you want it. You can start aggroing right from the get-go, and it can be pretty scary. And I think that may even be, I mean, that's how I would do it. I would want to try and knock my opponent off their balance before they even get the chance to try and stabilize and stall the game out. But it's really just going to kind of depend on what pieces are in hand. And I think we saw that Geenlin come in, and I think both players putting a card from hand to soul and drawing. I think we saw a trigger go to the soul on Dylan's side. So maybe foregoing a bit of defense to keep some aggro pieces potentially. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They might be setting up so that, like, my favorite card about Fu is that it really showcases what the players are trying to think about. Because the card they're putting in is the card that they're basically giving up, and just seeing that interaction is so cool. So yes, you're right. Seeing that trigger go in is possible that they're trying to keep up with the Narukami pieces, having maybe they're going to go full rush turn, because Narukami is very capable of rushing. Keep in mind, we don't have demolitions, we don't have that aggressive draw in this version, but still, we can just kind of like pop off, call a bunch of good cards, and just start swinging.
Yeah, definitely. Seems like we've got some decisions being made here. Swinging in. I think this is going to be... Okay, yep, we do see another Phoenix here coming down.
And another Fu, by the way.
Yeah, that was interesting here, because I think like this first attack, while just kind of like it's very early in the game, I think is going to kind of show where the players are at. And it seems like Dylan's going for a more aggressively defensive approach, trying to stay at some low damage, probably because they do know what's going to come later on in the game here.
Yes.
Also, just
using that
here too. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, using that Rising Phoenix as early shield now Dylan will be able to just revive them next turn whenever he has a way to bind something, and be able to just get a really big board out of nowhere. And it looks like we are going really aggressive here instead of damage denying KJ here. They're going to want to try to just end the game very quickly, or just cripple them hard enough to where they don't have enough pieces to get to that large soul count.
Yeah,
exactly.
We do see a heal guard coming down too, it looks like. So just gonna be staving off that attempted aggression here. I was gonna say too, it's interesting to me that Dylan got like probably like the most perfect Narukami opening that you'd want to see, riding the Nusku on grade 1 to search the top 5, and then the Spark Rays right after it to check the top 5 again for another Radicator, which really just works for Narukami's like consistency in getting the pieces that they want to see to make sure that they have the board state that they want as they go into things. It looks like they swung with that Zuitan, yeah, just to kind of get some draw going there as well.
I want to note too is that we did see that Fu and drive check, if I'm mistaken. And that being said, I think that basically is the indicator like, oh, there's no point in slowing down, because the Fu is just going to keep bring that soul. And while they can anyway, Narukami can remove pieces pretty quickly too. And I think that's another thing that Dylan is capitalizing on. It's like, okay, well, if they call a board, I can just bind it. And if they don't call a board, then I'm fine because then I don't have to guard as much. So that being said, it's I think at this point it's just a matter of KJ having to wait it out a little bit, using the effect of the fixer here. This card's insane, by the way. It's a soul blast. So basically get whatever you want from deck to soul. So you're not really negging or losing out on anything.
Yeah. Let me just refresh myself here. So when attacks while boosted on Vanguard or Rearguard, which I believe all these Ride Fixer promos, which is very, very fun. But yeah, like you said, a Soul Blast. Choose one of your units, insert your deck or drop for up to 3 cards in total the same card name, and put them into your soul. So that's just some very, very good soul charging there.
yes, that card is nuts. I love that card so much. When I read that card, I was like, it's a soul blast. Hello. for basically 3 soul back, like, and you get all your pieces. If you run like the dimension creep or anything like that, that's just free value.
Wow. Yeah, no, that there's gonna be a lot of which for a deck like this that does, like, for its big game ending play, does need a very, very high soul count. This is just a perfect addition to this deck.
Exactly.
It's like Dylan got Vanquisher going and is gonna be able to stride here into the Zoras, get the 2 excels, and be able to bind some of the drop zone, which I don't think super matters in this matchup other than through the Ride Fixer, but KJ did just put most of them into the soul, so it looks like those won't be as impactful this time, but it does help fuel the bind zone for a Stunverse later on, or potential bulwarks on the G Guard as well.
Yeah, I think we see KJ kind of playing somewhat conservatively here, not really putting too many things on the board, because if you don't have targets on the board, then you don't have to worry about your bind zone filling up when you may not want it to.
Oh, that's very correct. I think you're right. They're definitely playing more carefully here, and they kind of have to, because I feel like DI is very reliant on its pieces, and you kind of need them, and you don't want to just give it all out and then lose it all, then not have a turn. And Gasteel definitely wants a full board of units to kind of go in with, and we see that Fu go away. Bye, Fu.
Yeah, I think we saw. So we still have the Spark Rays on board from last turn, and on those double excel markers, I believe that's a Cho-Oh and another Vanquisher. So really just kind of it seems like just trying to get bodies on board to start pushing some aggro. A stand coming down too. That's actually pretty huge here.
Yeah, I think Dylan's mission is to kill.
Yeah, as well it should be, especially when you know that your opponent has such an oppressive and devastating game-ending play. If it were me, I'm gonna do everything I can to just avoid experiencing that as much as possible.
Yeah. Here we have the on hit. For those that may not know, basically the opponent gets to choose 2 cards from the drop zone and bind them. So that's what's happening there. Goodbye, Fu. Again. Part 2.
Got rid of the Fu. And I couldn't quite tell what that other card is, but you know what? It's in the bind zone now. It's no longer with us.
Yes.
So interesting to note, Gasteel does turn off auto effects later on, and setting up the bind zone now for Dylan will be really big, because Bulwark Dragon actually has a continuous ability where it gets plus 10k shield on Thunderstrike 3, so if the opponent has 3 or more cards in bind zone. So now Dylan just needs to bind 1 more card in order to have just an easy 25k shield into any of those attacks later on as well.
Yeah, that's a really good insight.
Yeah, that's a really good shout, especially because, like, you know, I feel like a lot of times people, when they think of Bulwark, their mind automatically does kind of go to that auto ability, because it does get units on the off the board and into the bind zone for you. But being one of the few G guards with a continuous scale is actually surprisingly relevant in this matchup for sure.
It's really interesting. Yeah, I'm reading it now. I'm like, yeah, this what it is. We were talking about autos and how autos are basically, a lot of your G guards are offline. But yeah, you're right. Narukami having the most insane G zone out of a lot of clans just have access to the craziest things like this. This was one of the reasons why Narukami, I feel like, is just such a strong deck. I feel like there's an answer to almost every matchup.
Yes,
and that's what keeps it going on top of the consistency, except for like maybe Dimension Police. That's one of the decks.
Yeah. No, both those decks actually are very, very good, because they I kind of think of them in the same way, in that their strength. I don't think anything is necessarily any one thing in the deck is too oppressive, but it's when you bring all these different pieces together that it's just an overall lack of weaknesses and an abundance of answers to different problems that make these decks so potent.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like KJ is really thinking about what they want to ride here. Doesn't opt to ride to the Shawheart, which we know they have in their hand since they searched it out earlier. Instead, they chose the Variance Drag form, which will be able to put a card from damage into Soul and then put a grade 2 or higher from their Soul into their hand, and then put the top card of the deck face down into damage. So they're going to be able to try to set up a little bit more of a hand, and you still get a Protect marker out of this. So I'm interested to see how much Soul KJ is going to be able to get here.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting piece here, because it makes me think a lot of kind of the early days in Premium, where you know, a lot of the V grade 3s weren't too useful in Premium, but things that weren't too useful in V, as long as they had an on play skill, all of a sudden were very, very handy in Premium. And that's exactly what this is here. Just an on place, do a thing, and then you can go right into your strides right afterward.
Yep, exactly. I think the thought here is what to do, to be honest. That hand isn't looking insanely healthy, but it's okay. We have our homie here. The card that I always see DI players tend to go into when things are going like a little south, or things are going against them. They just soul charge a bunch. Hope you get there in time. So this is the Carvanus. Very, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna quickly talk about this. I love the art of this card. It's kind of like it's such a cool looking art. I love it so much.
Yeah, no, I love this card a lot. Actually, I remember seeing some people be kind of disappointed with it on release, but it fits into the G zone. You're gonna play it regardless, because it is kind of like an emergency button. Like, okay, things aren't going great. At least I have this to do something and try and get out of it, which is my favorite part about Premium. And just like my favorite kind of G decks in the format for clans are ones that can run these types of things to just have a variety of answers to a variety of situations. And this is perfectly suited for this deck as well.
Yep, I completely agree. I think that's the awesomest part about DI's G Zone, is that they just have access to like all these crazy cards, and they all do funky things. And sometimes you look at them like, what is I even doing? It's like, it doesn't matter. It just matters for me, not for you.
Yeah. Let's see. I think we're setting up the Soul Charger, or no. I think I might have missed. I think that was the Geen.
That was just the cut.
Gotcha. Okay.
We haven't counterblasted yet for the effect, so.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're still getting to that.
Yeah, it's an on attack skill, so we got a bit of time to think.
Sure.
I think now we're going into it. So here we are. All right. Oh no, we're still doing stuff. We're still thinking.
Yeah. Maybe might considering doing something else. Hanali coming down. That could be very, very huge here.
Yeah. I think it'll lock out the Cho a little bit. So that'll probably help.
Let's see here. Yeah, especially too, because it seems like they might be holding back and not calling too much of a board. So I almost think that you might even want to try and like damage deny here. So that way, you know, that Hanali is even more potent.
Yes. Yeah. You could just make the rears. Yeah. Because I don't think he can live another. I don't think an extreme turn will be very friendly. We do see some triggers in there, which is good because then we have that one ability for the guard restrict. But again, if we're swinging to rear guards here, it won't actually matter. The guard restrict is like the secondary.
Yeah, it looks like it's mostly just trying to get a mass soul charge, which I think we are at 13 now. And we did get one draw because we showed a trigger off that soul charge, which I think KJ would have wanted a little bit more than that. But we do hit the draw trigger though to refuel our hand a bit better.
And another draw
Ooh.
trigger, too, it looks like. Wow, okay. All right, and it looks like we just have a singular damage on Dylan's side with a Hanali active. So this is probably not going to be as explosive of a turn as they would have hoped, especially like we're just mentioning having that 13 in soul. It's basically there's a time bomb about ready to go off, and you have a very limited amount of time and resources to be able to deal with it now.
Yeah, I think this is like, dude, I guess you just would exterminate or stun. Actually, we're going to stunners here, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess we just want to draw some cards, bind some cards,
Yeah.
just to kind of get that going.
I believe it will put it to at least 4 in bind, maybe 5 or 6. I can't. It looks like 5. So 5 in bind. So that is 1 draw and 1 card from hand on KJ's side of things. So we'll just have to see if that's really going to be enough, because hitting double draw on that drive check is helping out quite a bit, and especially with like as restricted of resources as Dylan has with that Hanali up is going to be very, very difficult to work around here.
Exactly. Kind of almost wondering, this is gonna be rough. I feel like luckily enough we do have the Phoenix coming out. We were kind of waiting for that little bird to come out, and maybe this is still annoying numbers, even without the Hanali, even with the Hanali being active and stuff like that. So because we still got, see, if you just swing correctly or swing like in a certain pattern, you can still work around the counter blast, but it's tough because as some people may forget or might not remember, the Vanguard doesn't count for Hanali. It's only the rear guards that count, so you can always just swing with Vanguard last. But here they're just choosing. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Interesting to note, he had 2 Rising Phoenixes in his drop zone, but he only decided to pull 1 instead.
I guess he's holding off on the other one. Not that I guess. Yeah, I see your point. So is Phoenix an auto? Now that I think about it,
yeah,
I don't know if that really matters. But yeah, I think calling both would have actually just been the right play here. But I guess the power. It loses the power, so maybe just holding off for the other one for a later turn.
Maybe I'm not quite sure there. Or maybe that Zuitan is just not really there to push damage. Maybe.
That's an interesting. So that was the Sanctitude. Now, a question for you guys. So the Sanctitude, when Guest Steal, it does its thing, right? That says, hey, you have to put a card in the damage zone. If you put the Sanctitude in, does that also disappear?
So Sanctitude doesn't have any auto abilities. It is only 2 continuous abilities, and the ability to use the PG like effect is not considered an act, auto, or continuous. So I believe that would still be effective here.
Yep, Sanctitude would be effective, and if it does go into damage zone, it would still stick because it's only like markers or tickets where if they go into damage zone, then they vanish. So yeah, that Sanctitude drive check is actually really big for Dylan.
Very clutch.
Because now that's just a free guard into one of the attacks. And being at 2 damage against this deck can still be very lethal, since everything's going to be swinging for at least 2 crit as well.
Yeah, that's true. And you can also just basically say no to the 4 facts. So I think that's like mainly where you'd want to use it, because you don't have to discard or anything for it.
Definitely. Because I feel like, going into this next turn, if you're Dylan, that you're going to be taking some hits here. You're going to be taking some hits. There's not really any way around it. Sitting in a decent enough spot, though, only at 1 damage. Now, that's not necessarily entirely safe, because I believe, like we've mentioned so far, have seen the DI like 1 to 6 people before, 2 to 6 people, even 0 to 6 at times. So it's just going to take some very, very smart guarding here to be able to get another turn. And I think the thing that's going to be tricky here too is to see if KJ isn't able to end the game on this turn, if they're able to get another Hanali up, because that Hanali definitely helped out quite a bit that last turn. But without another one, and if your opponent survives, there's going to be a lot of damage that they're sitting with, and there's going to be quite the crackback on the following turn.
Yep, exactly. Looks like KJ's thinking here how to set up, because we are back going to get steal. I know we're not at the 20 soul interval quite yet, if I saw that soul correctly, but we could get there. So now I guess the question is what to do. I think my favorite part about DI is that you don't have to stride to win. I think that's just crazy to me. That's just an interesting philosophy that you're not used to. Most of the time, you have to stride to kind of do something. DI's like, I'll stride eventually. I don't.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. I'm kind of wondering what that hand's looking like, because they're really thinking over there. They're like, how do I set up here?
There's some discussion happening here.
Yep, exactly.
Probably, I imagine, explaining the myriad of skills that Gastiel has available to it now.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's definitely correct. So there's quite a lot to do. For those of you guys that don't remember, you basically Counterblast get to draw a card, and you get a bunch of cool effects. You can turn off your opponent's auto abilities. You can force them to take a damage. All your front row units get a crit. And then I'm missing one more off the butt. Oh, and you go down to 1 power. It's great.
Ah, sure, yeah, because why not? Yeah, I forgot about that one power bit as well.
Yeah, you're just that one. It's just baby dust. Actually, I wouldn't even say it's a baby. It's a big boy.
Yeah, it's very true.
And everything.
It seems like we're still kind of considering where to go next, because like we mentioned, a Demontid coming down here.
This is actually good. There is that way. There's one way to get that soul going. Looks like we're going to 18 here. So we're getting close to that interval of 20. Can we get there? Can we? 2 more soul. We need 2 more.
Let's see.
One soul, and then do we have the damp as well?
Monochrome coming in here.
Okay. Yep, so there's that.
So that's 1 more soul, plus a counter charge, plus a draw, plus a stand trigger back in the deck.
Yep.
So a bit easier for this Gastiel to land a killing blow here as well.
Yeah, gonna be some filtering here for sure.
Maybe that draw might be the answer. We'll find out.
Yeah. All right. I think that was a Succubus of Pure Love into Soul.
Drawing a card. Okay, I'm like, dude, I'm like anticipating. Like, do we?
Yeah. There's a lot of things happening here.
Are we there?
Because one more.
All triggers. Who knows? Like, is it there? Can we get to? We're at 19. We're 1 off, and then you are correct, Deck Flare. We also have that Hope on Damp. Like, is that coming down, or do we make it? Like, I need answers.
Wow.
Yes, I think we made it. Isn't that the?
So we've got.
That card soul charges. You can just kind of card soul charge.
Kiagra.
Oh, yeah,
and then if you have, it lets you kind of get something out of your soul. Put something in soul and get something out.
Which is fine, because whatever you're going to get is probably going to soul charge, or if that Hope on Damp's in there, you can grab that. You have a lot of options. The soul is another part of your hands, and this is basically the way to do what we need to do.
Definitely, yeah. Let's see what is chosen here. It seems like there's a little bit of debate happening here.
Yeah, I think that the decision matters, but we know for a fact that we need something to soul charge, but that's on the assumption that there isn't something in hand to do that for us. Otherwise, we're grabbing a piece that we need for the combo. So it's one of those two things.
Yeah. Either going to be a piece we need right now, or a piece that's going to get us to the piece that we need.
Exactly. I love that card. That card's very popular in Barrow Magnus. It's fun to see it in a deck like this.
Seems like we're grabbing another Kiagra. So we might be going back and doing it again, maybe just to try and get to that 20 soul.
Yep.
So the Hope on Damp got soul charged. So if KJ has another Kiagra, then he'll be able to grab it, because there's only 1 Hope on Damp in his list.
He had another Calgary to hand, so I think here they can grab.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he can call another one and then basically get the Hope on Damp, which is I think what we're gonna see here.
Still needs another way to soul charge as well.
Yeah, that is true. Because we're just basically cycling the soul. We're not really collecting. So
maybe
there comes the other one.
Hoping for something to kind of end up in soul to give us more soul off that soul charge potentially. But I'm not sure if there's anything in the deck that could do that here.
The Kyogre gives the additional 5k power to the front row. That's so annoying. God.
Yep.
God, I forgot about that part. You could just basically have a baby persona.
Alrighty, there's another monochrome coming in here.
Yep, we got it. We got it.
Alrighty.
That's 20 soul and at least 2 stands, it looks like, in the deck now. And
we
did add he added the damp back to hand. So
we're there.
This turn could very well kill from here. It depends on maybe some trigger reliance and how Dylan's hand is shaping up to see if it can guard in increments of 20k.
Some triggers and some very, very careful guarding is going to be the thing to ideally try and get one more turn.
Yeah. Dylan's had a lot of time to think about those 20k shields or 20k intervals. So hopefully within the time of drive checking and calling cards out, that has been in the back of Dylan's mind to prepare for this. And on top of the, just the crits and the front row and everything else that we have, and the 4-fax that's coming. We do know about the Sanctitude in hand, so that's definitely going to be a huge setup here. I believe that was a heal. I actually couldn't tell what went in there, but still. But yeah, we're also potentially, as we discussed, there's stands coming down potentially. We have basically a twin drive and then a triple drive coming on top of sending back triggers to deck. So this is definitely going to be a very explosive turn. So it looks like we do have enough for 4-fax too, as Deck Flare talked about yesterday. Actually, we have to discard cards. We have to have a certain hand count as well, which I believe was 5, right? Right, Deck Flare, you have to have exactly 5 to gonna set up. Oh, that's so much stress. God, I'd be stressing out. I thought Heltruda was stressful. We have to have 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of plates spinning when you're trying to get this set up to go the way you want it to. And it seems like a very, very delicate act, but the payoff is certainly very well worth it with just the amount of effects that you're putting on your opponent. The amount of restrictions you're putting on your opponent makes this an incredibly potent turn here. And we do see that the Hope on Damp hitting the board now.
Yeah, calling one more little card there.
It looks like yes, that is the one-eyed succubus, I believe. So that's just going to be the into soul and draw, but we don't have a Shahra on Vanguard. I don't think so. I don't think that's really going to be the thing here. More just I mean, when your opponent's at 1 power, any little bit of extra power is just going to make it even harder to guard with, especially with that Hope on Damp active as well.
Yep. So here we have, the Dice Steel is officially live. Our Dylan put the card into the damage zone. We're back to 1. Autos are offline, and the crits are active to the front row.
Alrighty.
And this is it. This is the time to shine.
Yep.
And KJ, clean it up here. Is this it? Can Dylan get through this to go to top 4?
Seems like we're about to get there. Maybe just trying to make sure that everything is perfectly in line. Okay, here we go. Swinging in with the Demonted here.
We do have the stands in deck, so there's a very high likelihood that we're going to hit those monochromes again.
Very true. And we are going to see 5 drive checks this turn as well.
2 and then into 4-fax. So we took the damage. No defenses hit at all. So that's scary. So we're still at 1.
Every attack from here on is going to be lethal, and we have at least 2 stands in deck. I see 1 in damage. and I'm unsure where that fourth one is currently. But yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of high chance of KJ just killing on this turn.
Yeah, definitely.
This
I
reminds
think
me
it's
of like. Okay, keep going.
Oh no, I think it's just gonna kind of depend. It seems like they're debating on whether or not to get that rear guard first, because if you go for the high roll, you could maybe just hit 2 stands right here and then create a 6 attack turn here.
Yeah,
Which is gonna be even scarier.
I was gonna say this reminds me of like Luard Morfessa shenanigans, but wait,
Mm.
but you know what I mean? It's kind of similar. You have
Yeah,
stands in
yeah.
deck, you have crits on the rears, you're attacking a lot, you're recalling cards. It's giving me like Luard Morfessa flashbacks.
Definitely. Yeah, very very similar vibes here, just with a bit more
Setup.
restrictions on the opponent.
Yeah, true. All right, looks like we're doing a trigger count here, which is a very valid thing to do. I would also
Yeah.
want to do that, especially knowing that some of those triggers are going back to deck as well.
Mhm.
So 4 facts going in. Who knew that 4 facts was going to be this insane? I mean, we knew, but you know, like, God,
Yeah,
that card
yeah.
is just so good.
Yeah, because
KJ
the
doing
deck
that-
is gonna go from, it's at 6 cards right now, I think was the count we heard. So it's gonna go down to 4 and then can put 3 crits back, if I'm correct on 4 facts skill.
Yes.
So there's the 5. I'm being corrected of 5 cards in deck. So gonna go from 5 to 3, and then half of those are gonna be crits on the 4 facts attack.
Yeah.
So very very scary here.
There's the block coming in. Obviously, we have the guard restrict active as well, having to give up some very awkward intervals to just be able to, I think, 2 to pass this, which is still really risky.
Oof, yeah, not
Because I believe that's
ideal.
27-32 right now, I want to say. I know it has the front row 10K off of the grade 2, so it's 22 for sure. And I think there's actually another 5K coming from somewhere, and then we also have the boost in the back.
Yeah. Which seems like we're probably doing some math right now, I'd imagine, just to make sure everything's where it should be. Maybe doing another little trigger count here. I think one thing, because we do know that there is the sanctitude in Dylan's hand, but I think what may help out a lot too is if there's a heal for a G guard, that might be helpful here as well.
I forgot how we're facing the Arkami. They could just impede. Oh wait, no, they're offline, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. So more so for that.
It's more so the other one, the one that gives that extra 10K power.
Yes.
You're right. You're right. My brain went into impede, and I realized that they can't even impede.
I mean, I do the same thing whenever I face up against Gridora, and then I try to G guard. They're like, no G guarding. I'm like, oh crap! How many times have I done this, and it's still trying to do it.
All right, so that looked like a very hard no pass. Trying very hard to. Oh, there's the stand. Oh my gosh.
Is very huge right here.
Woo.
We know Dylan has a heal and a sanctitude in hand, so that's 2 more blocks, but there's gonna be at minimum 3 more attacks coming out.
Yeah.
With that 4 facts, and KJ only has 2 crits in that soul right now, so they're only gonna be able to send back at most 2. But they can choose to not send back any if they really want the highest chance for
There's
that
also
stand trigger.
I was gonna say, I think we also know about the sanctitude in hand, so we know that the Vanguard's gonna get basically PG'd. But there's 13 triggers put in public knowledge. That deck is definitely gonna be hitting a lot of triggers.
Yeah, I think there has to be some triggers going back regardless. I think there's only 3 in deck at this point. So there's gonna have to be some amount going back. Otherwise, this 4 fact is just gonna deck out here.
Yeah. They'll be sending back 2. They're gonna send back the 2 crits, which will put them at just enough to be able to hit. So I think we'll be okay there. It's more so can Dylan guard all this? We know the Vanguard's gonna get definitely guarded. Actually they can even hard guard the Vanguard and use the Sanctitude on one of the rears if they want to. That is another approach, but still it's too risky at this stage.
Seems like maybe considering only putting 1 crit back, which
you guarantee the stand.
Yeah, potential, which could be tricky here, just because if Dylan is somehow able to survive this turn, they could just
True.
see, there we go. You see that one coming in. If
Yep.
Dylan is some way through triggers or just some smart guarding able to survive this turn, could literally just go back to their turn and then just pass and then get the win right there. So
Yep.
throwing that other crit back is going to at least make it so that that won't be a potential end to this match here.
Yep, agreed. So here we go. We just sent back with 4 facts.
How would you like to
yeah.
divide my 5, 6 cards here?
How would you like to cut this? Okay, so this is basically now something to keep in mind. I don't know if we've seen too many heals come off of Dylan's side. Just something to kind of note here. I haven't seen too many. I think we saw maybe one early on, and I think that was basically it. So the only 4 cards in hand. You know, this is
very scary spot to be in.
This is the only one that doesn't have the crit on it, which I know that doesn't say much because they were just
right.
But this is like the least scariest one out of the rest.
Yeah.
I believe there's 5 cards in deck.
Yes, 5 cards in deck, and at least 2 of them being crits.
Yep.
Yeah, so depending on Dylan's hand, he might just have to take this and pray that in that triple drive, the 2 crits are on the bottom.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too.
Well, we
choosing distinction
here.
I don't know if I'd want to probably use the sanction 2 on the rears.
Maybe.
So there's that's a crit, right?
That's a crit. Yep.
Okay, that's 1.
Going on the demonted there, it looks like.
We only have 2 cards in hand, and yeah, this that's a stand. So here goes the stand.
Yep.
So we're probably gonna put the 5K somewhere in the rears. I would put it probably on the left side just to make it really awkward to guard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's already awkward to guard. But
it's very, very awkward to guard.
So here, I'm like almost debating if putting the sanction 2 on Van was the play here, just because let's pretend that last check is going to be not a crit. They could technically live off of if they had a heal, and then they could potentially sanction 2 one side and guard the other, you know. But also, I don't know how healthy that hand is in terms of the hope on damage effects.
But I don't think we've seen OT.
We have
on
not
Dylan's side either, so that is also something that could just pop up out of nowhere.
It could. I think healing or OT, either of the 2 would definitely be a saving grace.
Seems like we're really debating on where this power needs to go here.
Yeah, they're trying to. I think they're trying to do like just figure out what are the odds that Dylan lives here, and based off of that, where to put that 5K.
I mean, this is top 8. This is, you know, it's very down to the wire. And this is a thing too, because, you know, while everything looks pretty like it's on lock for KJ, you never know what can happen until that 6 damage hits and sticks.
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
so it's going to be, you know, it makes sense to really kind of be careful here, because if KJ doesn't close it out here, probably not winning.
Oh, see, oh wow. See, that's what I was I'm just thinking like that was a normal unit. So now it's just I'm just thinking so hard. This is such a hard decision to make. Like now one side swing for 3 damage and super high and you have to take it. The other side swing for 2 damage and smaller. But they do have the G guard here. So as we talked about earlier, you guys brought up a really good point about those 10Ks. It's going to come up now, basically. So now I feel like they're going to have just enough to block this really big side. But the question is the other side. Can we block through that? Because that's what's going to basically decide.
Yeah. That's going to be the thing. And I think we've got at least 2 intercepts on board too.
Yes. Yeah, we got 2. That's 10K shield.
There is that, but it is, I don't know. It seems like
still at 1. You know, you're at 1, and that this card right here that the G guard's being used, it gives like 25K shield, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It will end up being a 25K shield here.
Yep. Okay, I'm reading it now. Yeah, so 10K and it's active. It's the only part of the skill that's actually active on the card.
Yep.
So.
Ooh. He has another G guard that he's using on the swing too.
Oh wow!
I was wondering where those heals
were.
So that the only thing that's scary here is I guess the other side's got to be taken. We're now aware that that's 1 card in hand. There's no way unless that card is the over trigger, which still won't work.
Yeah.
There's no way to possibly block this. The other side.
Let's see.
But it's 2 damage, you know.
Yep, it's less than the other one.
What's that? What's that?
That's a heal.
Is that a heal? Is that that is a heal.
That is a heal, and it looks like we're done.
We're KJ's scooping up.
It's over. Wow.
That's crazy. Wow. Just like that. Just like that. All that setup.
Yeah.
And the game on a heal.
That thinking, but you know, like we were saying, Dylan was gonna have to guard very, very intelligently. Yes, that heal did come in. That heal was absolutely clutch, but was still some like very, very smart, kind of like very well planned out guarding on Dylan's side. But unfortunately, when you have such a high risk, high reward play such as we saw here, you know, like you're gonna like, you swing for the highest of heights, but sometimes if you miss, you come crashing down, and it's unfortunate how it happens that way. But you know, that's just what happens sometimes, you know.
Yeah, it definitely did come down to just like, do we get the heal, which is kind of crazy because there were 2 heals in hand too. So I think Dylan the whole time was thinking like, there's no way I'm gonna check another one, right? There's no way. And then there it was, straight up. That's why I was almost wondering if it made sense to just take the Vanguard and just kind of like eat that, hit the heal, and then basically stop the turn, especially with those heal guards in hand, having just enough to block, putting the base up just a little bit. It basically would have solidified the game either way, but it's still very well played.
Yep, a lot of this matchup comes down to a lot of defensive triggers or offensive triggers on the Gastille turn, and then also the opposing player to it having to set up the hand in order to survive that turn. And if you just live through that turn, then you should win from there, since the Gastille player should have like no cards in deck, which we saw there. They had 2 cards in deck, I think, but they had no hand in order to guard anything. So
yeah, I think what was interesting too is because watching that play there, because we knew there was a stand still left in deck, and I almost wonder if maybe just swinging with that demonted first before the 4-fax might have created a situation there, unless I'm getting my timings mixed up with 4-fax. Because that maybe could have created a scenario for an extra attack, which could have helped kind of seal things there. But you know, that's the kind of like I said, very, very high risk turn there, and there was a lot of kind of things to weigh there, which we saw kind of like a lot of debating happening there. And then unfortunately for KJ here, that's just how the trigger checks went down.
Yep, exactly. Well, that was quite intense. Very, very, very. That setup was just surreal.
Yeah, definitely.
But now we're waiting for setup for basically the top 4, and it looks like the other side, if I remember correctly, it was a Narukami and a DP that we'll be facing, and obviously on our side, it's Narukami against something. I'm not exactly too sure what our 4th deck is, but yeah, very awesome stuff.
Yeah, alrighty. So we're gonna let that get set up real quick. We will take a very brief break while players get into their positions, and we'll be right back for the next round of our top 8 of BRO.
Stay tuned.
Cardfight Vanguard. I sever and manifest causality. Boldly cast to the side this feeble, unstable world. Booster Pack, Evenfall Onslaught. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Witness the strongest band together on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Ari Fureta, from commonplace to world's strongest. 12 deck and booster pack. On sale November 17th. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. The Stage Girl Silver Screen Review is now a card game on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Review Starlight, the movie booster pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The love story revolving the quintuplets once again comes to the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The quintessential quintuplets movie booster pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
It's a grade 11? Can Team Wildress create a new future? Booster Pack, Flight of Chakrabarthi. Bushiroad.
Gamegenic Ingenious Supplies.
Weiss Schwarz, water, earth, fire, air. Join Aang and his friends in their adventure to master the 4 elements and defeat Fire Lord Ozai, Avatar The Last Airbender, Trial Deck Plus, Booster Pack, and Supply Set. Now on sale, Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Experience the full-blown high school story on the stage of Weiss Schwarz once again. Saikano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend Flat Booster Pack, now on sale. Bushiroad.
Cardfight Vanguard! Encounters with heroes. Stories that will shape your soul are waiting for you. Booster Pack, Clash of the Heroes. Bushiroad!
Weiss Schwarz. The Academy was the Girls' Orchard. The popular visual novel series joins the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The Fruit of Grisaya Trial Deck and Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The name of Eins Oregon continues to expand on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Booster Pack Nazareth Tomb of the Undead Volume 2. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
For our fellow card fighters and Saniwa, your powerful Token Danshi will be making a return in Token Rumble Online 2023. Look forward to brand new mechanics that will grant them new strength and power in their Kiwame forms. Do bugs bug you? I sure hope not, because we'll be descending into the insect kingdom with Mushi King. Watch out for these super powered insects crawling your way into Booster Pack 13, Flight of Chakrabarthi. What do you dream of when you dream of duets? I dream of Yume no Kesho. These collaboration promo cards with the Bang Dream AI singing synthesizer feature.
Alrighty, we are back from that brief break there. Kind of needed just a second to catch the breath a little bit after that last round, because that was very, very intense. You know, honestly, like edge of my seat the entire time just watching that, just because it was. I mean, everything looked like it was gonna go KJ's way, and KJ was doing everything that they could to get everything in a row to get that perfect game plan set up, and it was definitely right there. But unfortunately, you know, sometimes the triggers tell a different story than perhaps you would have wanted them to. But still, very, very well played on both sides. I don't think we could have asked for much better from the first round of top 8 here.
No, I agree. Very well played. Lots of very smart decisions making. The G guarding was actually insane. Definitely just very well thought out. That's a very hard matchup where you really need to sit there and like really turn your gears to break through those kind of games.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of setup you have to do beforehand for both sides of the matchup in order to try to make those turns as livable as possible. And I think both players did the best they could in that scenario.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was a very, very skilled play on both sides. But man, I can't help but feel my heart break just a little bit once that heel got flipped up, and then KJ just started scooping, because it's like you know, like well, that was it. But I think we are ready for our next round, our next stream game. Why don't we go ahead and let the players get to it?
So here we have our top 4 match. This is for the fight for first and second place here. So very intense. This is where the pressure really begins. We had pressure earlier, but now it's even more pressure. We're trying to get to the top 3. So this is very intense. We have DP facing Narukami here, and again, as a roundup, Miguel is Miguel loves Dimension Police, one of his favorite clans and deck. So really showcasing here Well, I don't think I've ever seen him actually play aside from in real life. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. Yeah.
Looks like Seraph is getting that Chain Bolt Dragoon that we pointed out earlier in the deck review. So going to be able to check the top 7 here for a Vanquisher. Probably not as needed since they are on the draw here. So they can probably just ride up to Sweep Command potentially. But definitely got several options up to them, but looks like they whiff regardless here.
Yes. I think this is actually gonna be a pretty tough matchup for Seraph here, but I feel that Dimension Police usually has the upper hand since the G guards in Arcami are really, really good. But guess what? None of them really say I can block 100k, and I think that's the biggest issue that we're going to be coming into. The late game of Dimension Police is insanely intense, and they do not care about the bind that much. To be honest, they can play with their hand, they can play with just a Vanguard. They don't really care. So this is going to be a pretty uphill battle, I feel, and we're going to be making exactly. So I was expecting this. So I was about to say we have to close out the game.
Yeah,
we got to start going. So looks like we did hit a trigger there. That's a 5k, so still potentially could hit here. It's a 1 to pass right now, and we'll see what happens here. Did not break through, but we did get that sweep command going.
Yeah, which is very good. It seemed like Seraph trying to go for some more aggressive play here, just because DP is not always known for being the most defensively sound, at least in the early game. Of course, once we get into late game, we start getting those Geomaxes flipped up. DP can tank through just about anything, but in the early game, a lot softer, a lot squishier. But we do see the Die Dumper coming down, which basically has the same skill as Die Liner to give our grade 3s plus 10k. So already shoring up those early game defenses, which is going to be pretty big here. Makes it so that can't be rushed down quite as easily.
Precisely.
Instead of having to ride the Cho-Oh instead of the Spark Rays makes it a bit harder for the Vanguard to hit as well. Now Seraph has to commit more of a board in order to try to deal some damage to Miguel. And with that, they're going to have less shield when Miguel rides up to grade 3. And I'm expecting to see Die Liner, and Die Liner is probably going to be swinging for 33k with 3 crit. And it's going to be really hard for Seraph to have to try to block that, or if Seraph just decides to take it all and then tries to guard some of the strides later on.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like they dropped down a Nusku and grabbed another Nusku off of the Nusku. So
yes, which you can do, by the way. So you can just keep searching. Again, that consistency that Narukami has is just actually insane. You can just keep searching for days. Everything searches itself. It's really hard to like brick with this deck, and it can happen still, but the chances of it happening are just less likely. So here we can just go on and just keep on searching for all our pieces. Again, everything says Eradicator on it. So
yep. Keep digging for pieces. It looks like they pitch that quick shield as well.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah.
One time.
could be that there either weren't any Eradicators. Probably could have been like, because I mean, I've definitely, when playing Narukami, dropped out a Nusku and go, oops, all triggers, none of these are Eradicator. There's gotta have to go from there. Or it could just be that there's not really any pieces that you want to see right now. So it's probably better just to leave it be than have to get something that you don't need right now and discard something that you do need. Still, though, getting a board here to kind of try and swing over that 10k defensive. Another sweep command.
Wow. A lot of grade 3s.
I think that was a Die Liner potentially as well.
It looks like the pretty Die Liner. So here, we were talking about that this grade 2 here, the one that just says, hey, your grade 3s can block. I think that card is just so cool.
Yeah. Very handy.
It helps mitigate a lot of the early aggro that some decks will usually try to do against DP. And it turns those early heal guardians into 25k shields as well. So you can really block just like anything with that. And
exactly.
Interested to see what we decide to ride here. Because
it was like there's a bit of debate happening.
Yeah, it's not straight into Die Liner, which is a bit worrying.
Ooh. Yeah, we didn't see the bike.
Okay.
That is interesting.
That is definitely
Yeah, so we didn't see the bike early, which you know how the bike can kind of fix your ride.
Yep.
I think that might have been the hurtful situation that happened here, which okay, it does happen. We can still apply some pressure, but this is definitely no, definitely not the ideal ride. But it's okay, still forced to. You know, you can still randomly just hit triggers here,
Yeah.
and it's okay. You can hold on to the stride turns. You could die liner can come a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. See, I think if I'm Seraph here, I'm thinking like, you know, breathing a little bit
Yes,
more easily. I almost
agreed.
wonder, I mean, obviously you're getting the triple drive here, and we do see I believe it's Eternity Chaser is the name of the bike. Kind of coming to the back row, which is gonna be like effectively a PG for low. That's an over trigger. So
Oh
we're just
wow.
gonna casually go from 0 to 4, it looks like, on Seraph's
No,
side of
just two.
things.
Or it should be actually it should be 3 damage, right?
And
Oh
that
no,
was
it's
the
I'm
over
thinking about the
trigger,
force
yeah.
too. I'm thinking about the
Yeah.
force. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it is 4 damage. Well, that's one
Ooh,
way to just go from 0 to 4.
both of Seraph's Espos actually went into the damage zone as well. So
Ooh,
that's a lot less
that's
multi-attack potential they
Wow.
will be able to have.
very,
Mhm.
very painful.
Yeah,
Um,
those are basically out from the game.
you know, it looks like, you know, I mean, you may have had to ride the wrong Vanguard, but at least you effectively cut
Did 4
out a good
damage.
chunk of aggro from your opponent's side of the deck with those damage checks.
Wow, that's quite a big turnaround. We went from like a pretty rough situation to kind of evening out the playing field, surprisingly enough. Mainly so much just that damage. Yeah, that damage is pretty rough.
Yeah. See the exterminate coming down with an empty front row as well.
Yep.
So gonna get some
So get that
some
20K
draw there.
draw, yes. Exterminate is such a funny card.
Yeah,
It just says draw cards. Get power.
More often than not, it ends up just being like a draw 2 and a plus 20K to front row. But adding that in to the already very solid and well-tuned Narukami package is just makes it for an incredibly potent stride.
Yep, exactly. So that's just the usual exterminate stuff here. Is that another Nisco?
Nusku, yes. Yep.
Yeah. Like,
A
so
third
many.
coming down here.
That's pretty wild.
Alrighty. Just probably I imagine now at this point with both of those Esperadiers going to damage, probably gonna want to try and find a Cho-Oh or two to try and recoup some of the multi-attack that we want to see on these turns.
Yeah, precisely. I think something to note is that knowing Seraph is very aware that Miguel's not in the most ideal position now.
Yeah.
I think here you just kind of want to try to close pretty quickly. I think you just want to end the game as soon as possible. Just keep trying to ride uphill as quickly. That's what I would be thinking. I'd be like, all right,
yeah, no,
they don't have the
definitely.
shields. Unless their hand isn't seeing for stride, I just kind of want to close it out. And I think here just calling as much as we can here, hoping we have a PG in hand or something to live a DP stride turn is the go. Which I think is precisely where we're going here. Here's the Cho that we were talking about, so that's really good.
And another
And we're moving up that bike
on there too. Yep.
Because that can move the bike, right? Oh wait, I guess not. I guess it can't.
Could, but it doesn't look like
you have to choose
went for that
first.
skill.
I think you have to pick something to bind first and then move a card up. And I think since there's nothing to pick, I guess it goes around it. I'm not 100%.
Gotcha. So the wording on Cho-Oh, just to be explicitly here, is when placed, you counterblast 1, choose a column, bind one of your opponent's front row rear guards in that column, and move up to 1 back row rear guard in that column to the front row rear guard. So
that makes sense.
I don't know if you necessarily need to have the bind go off in order to have the move go off. Just because, I mean, sometimes the wording can get I can kind of get lost in the weeds of the wording sometimes, but I believe because it says and not then, if I'm correct there, that they could move it up. But it seems like they just didn't opt for that there.
Okay. So it can be moved up. I guess it just chose not to. The reason why I say that is because I guess in this situation it doesn't matter. The Eternity Chaser can't actually block anything. I'm pretty sure everything's hitting over 25k.
Yes.
So in this situation, I guess they're just like, you can just have it. It's fine.
Yeah. And
so the really big thing Miguel just did is he did G guard with the Juamagos. I don't remember the name of it. But he was able to get that die liner that he did heal out last turn back into his hand. So he'll be able to get that 10k shield buff on his next turn if he can just get there.
Yeah, and it seems like he's pretty comfortably taking some hits here. Starting this turn with only 1 damage definitely helped with that. And yeah, I think we're up to 4 or 5. And that's a crit, it looks like, coming down here into the damage. So yeah, no, healing out of that, healing that die liner and then using that Gyaramelgos to bounce it back to hand is exactly what Miguel is going to want to see here.
That G-Guard goes hard.
Absolutely. The amount of times insane. I have sat there and dropped 2 grade 3s that were 25k shield each, then gone to Gyaramelgos and bounced them right back to hand to continue guarding in the same turn. Is
and you can ultimate stride. It's just
yes.
So,
oh man, it's
such a good setup.
Such a useful card.
It's the main reason I bought DP for premium because I was had a V and I was like, all right, this is the reason. It's something that says drops into hand. I'm sold.
Seems like that's the Grand Blue sensibilities kind of pulling you over to the clan.
Oh yeah. Anything that says I use my drop zone, I'm sold.
There you go. Alrighty, and I think that is going to end it for Seraph's turn there, and we do see that die liner coming down here on Miguel's side of things. Gonna see DP probably doing what we expect to see. I think it's going to be interesting to see. Mainly what star we go into. I feel like the easy pick is probably Geomaglis here, but I think there's also a strong argument to go into Unibird, which I believe we are doing here. We are going into that Unibird.
Especially with all that damage.
Yes, exactly. And because we did, I believe we did use that Gyaramelgos last turn, we are at GB2, which does make Linka live if that's going to be a factor in this turn. The Gelsledge coming down here too, which is going to basically, if Seraph doesn't want to pay the cost, is going to end up letting Miguel draw a card and then also -5 on their Vanguard, which is, I mean, what's 5k when your opponent's going to be at 100k? You know, what's another 5k? But
yeah,
still,
I think it doesn't
not ideal.
I still want to probably just deny it, especially with all that soul. That Seraph has a bunch of soul to work with. I think they could just deny it. I think denying the draw is also very important here. DP does want to see his pieces, and the EOT is out, so we're not worried about that anymore. So at this point, we're just drawing important pieces.
And we did see the Linka come down there just now and go right into the soul. So we do have the guard break active as well. I'm curious to see if we're going to be able to see the Laurel come down here too.
I don't know if we really need it here. We haven't seen too many perfect guards, so I'm going to take a guess and say that there is a perfect guard in Seraph's hand, but also just something to keep in mind. I don't think this is kill turn. I think this is to get as much cards out of hand as possible turn, and just basically just play off of that. And we did see the die arm come down.
Yeah, die arm just hit the
You
board.
are right. There is that. That's Professor Laurel. Dang, you nailed it. You nailed it. The Unibird, and you got it with the Laurel too. That's wild. Never mind. You're right.
I think it's interesting here that they're opting to boost the Eternity Chaser. I almost feel like I would rather leave that Eternity Chaser standing just to swing with the Dizoris first to get a 6th drive check this turn to maximize that grade 3 chance. But maybe we don't need it.
Maybe we don't need it. Maybe we're just saying we're fine with 5.
Yeah. We'll just have to see here.
So Unibird is live here just to kind of give some thoughts. Just keep in mind it gets 10k for everything in your damage zone and all your rear guards on the board, and then you can also flip. And for 50k you get the crits, and then at 100k you get the 2 extra drives. A very aggressive card, and we also have Laurel on the board, which can basically restand that if I remember correctly.
Yes,
so that's 100k restanding. Oh, true, if it hits, but you know.
So it's like even so like even if you decide to take it and you heal, you're still gonna have to deal with another one of these coming at you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
exactly.
if there isn't already extra crits on the drive checks on top of it.
Yeah, I think here you'd kind of want to just try to perfect guard this and drop another perfect
Yeah.
guard because we saw one Linka get used, but that's not stopping the second perfect guard. So if you drop 2 PGs, you're fine. But if you only have
Yeah.
one, uh-oh.
I think just doing some quick math real quick, if that die arms ability was active, like to give the 30k to the front row, that means that this Unibird is currently sitting at 166k, if my math is correct. And with
That is
Miguel being
scary.
at 5 damage as well means that a
Another
heal coming
50K.
in on 5 is not going to work. It's
true.
going to have to be that 6 damage heal if it's going to come through that way. So this is just absolutely massive here.
Yeah, no, this is like I said, there better be PGs in that hand because otherwise there is no. Oh, are we taking it?
No, we just saw
we're flipping. We're
Sanctitude
flipping.
come down. It looks like.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, true. Sanctitude does go around this, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It definitely
very
does.
easily.
Definitely does.
It's
That
a
is
DP
the
Square's
one
nightmare.
thing that Seraph really needed here to
Yeah,
survive
that is
this
very
turn.
true. Whew. There's a lot of grade 3s going to hand. We saw heal come down, so it just gives us a little wiggle room here. I do think Seraph has the option if they have the G guards to kind of stride here, sorry, to turbo the GB to get to very impactful strides. But I'm assuming they might not actually have it. But still, these numbers are big.
Very big. Yeah. And I can't quite tell, but I'm going to assume that Miguel went ahead and probably flipped a Geo, I think.
Yep, and here comes the G guard. Now, keep in mind the other side's 2 damage. This side's 1. So actually, no, there was a crit. Was there a crit? I don't think there was a crit. So I'm actually almost wondering would it have made more sense to just block the other side, unless we have the PG. I guess then it doesn't matter.
Just have to see. I believe that is the. I can't remember its name. I just remember it by its effect. Let me get its name right quickly. The Counteract Dragon. Now the Counteract Dragon is interesting because it does make it so that it's the opponent's choice whether or not to bind things. But if you choose not to bind, if the opponent opts not to bind, then it just gets a lot of shield. So it's a pretty fun card because it kind of creates some decisions for the opponent to have to make.
Exactly. That card's annoying.
Very.
I sit there and go, okay, you can just have your shield. I don't want to bind.
Yep.
So this one's pretty big. It is swinging for 2 damage. So it's also a very big boy.
Very,
it has the
very
boost
big.
and it's got the die arm power. And yeah, so here the PG should be coming down, I'm assuming. Yes, there it is. There was no way that there was not one PG in that hand. There had to have been at least one. I will say that Elementaria came through really hard into a matchup like this. It basically shut down one of the biggest Vanguards possible. That thing was huge.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think that was like 166.
It was big. It was definitely at least 120. It was well past that. Because it had all the rear guards, which is 50-50 on its own. 50 from the damage, 50 from the rear guards. That's 100k already. So yeah, it was huge.
The sweep command's gonna also be able to bind 2 front row, and then since they are at 4 more damage, they can get that Excel marker and be able to potentially revive another Cho-Oh back and just try to have a really massive turn and try to push for game. Because I think if it goes back to Miguel, then Miguel will be able to just overwhelm Seraph with just a massive Vanguard.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that Sanctitude came in super clutch here. That card puts in a lot of work in a lot of different matchups, but especially in this one where you're staring down the barrel of an absolutely massive Vanguard swing that has the potential to restand and could break through your normal PGs. That comes in very, very handy here, and I think is like potentially probably the main reason that Seraph is getting this extra turn here.
Yeah, I also think it was smart Miguel's side to not go into X Gallop, knowing that that situation probably would have happened. But I'm almost even thinking if X Gallop would have been the better play, actually, because the Sanction 2 would have shut down the first attack, but I wouldn't have shut down the second attack. And I'm wondering if that could have been like the game changer.
Mm.
So Seth decides to revive the counter charge Eradicator. That's telling me that... Oh, because you need 1 CB for Exterminate and then 1 for Cho-Oh as well. So that's really good to be able to just get that extra XL and then be able to still have the cost for everything.
Yes.
And still got the extra draw from the Exterminate, so he just needs to fill up a board now and just swing massively at this point.
Yeah, everything's gonna have the 20k buff once the skill activates and the cards are called. Yeah, I think Seraph's gonna want to try to close out here, because if they don't, I can't see them living another turn, but
right,
anything's possible.
Hey, you know, that's Vanguard. You know, like we've said, it's not until that 6 damage that's not until you get that 6 damage and it sticks that the game is actually over.
End up having another one, so there might already be the last Cho-Oh in Seraph's hand. And if it's there, then Miguel has a lot to have to guard through, because the grade 3s are only 15k shield right now from the die liner, and there's only one Geoma Glass face up. So it's... but we know Miguel has G-guarded, or has the heal in their hand, so they will be able to at least G-guard once and potentially get 2 more grade 3s back into their hand. So that hand is still pretty defensively okay, but will it be enough for Seth's turn?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's still, these numbers are just they get so big. We're staring at a lot of attacks here.
Yeah, gonna be especially with as wide with all these Excel markers and things too. And that's one thing with Narukami with Exterminate, is that it doesn't really matter what you put in the front row, it's still going to be massive.
Yep. So here is that show that you were talking about that's coming down. So we have 2 rear guards that are restanding.
Double Cho-Oh,
Yep. And sadly, there's no way to really go around this. There's some decks that can kind of call cards mid-battle to the front row and stop the Cho restands, but DP does not have access to that. So here we're just gonna have to hope and pray that we can guard all this. Which those numbers are, so they're plus 20k power. So that's that's 1434 swing in.
Which, if there were ever a clan that could guard this, I feel like it's going to be Dimension Police. It just kind of depends on how many grade 3s we see in the deck.
Yes, exactly. We just see that heal come through early, which is definitely clutch here. There's a chance of hitting a defense here, maybe kind of helping out a little bit with these guards, but it's definitely really risky. So here we have the G guard coming down. Probably going to go into the our boy. Our boy to get
more
that
of those
back.
Shield back to keep guarding throughout this turn.
Yeah, I guess that's all we have. We still have a Vanguard swing coming through. We got a restander coming. These numbers are going to get pretty insane, especially after the drive check. So, okay, pretty good grabs there. We got our ride target in case we need it. I think the craziest thing is being able to recycle these cards over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. The one important thing to note is all of these numbers from Seraph are going to be bigger than 25k, since Exterminate just gave 20k to everything. So this Eternity Chaser won't be able to stop any of these attacks by itself.
Precisely.
So Miguel's just going to have to hard guard everything. Can still take 1 damage somewhere, though. So
yeah, there is room for 1.
Yeah, if he does hit a damage trigger, then it makes a lot of these attacks a lot easier to guard. But we'll see when he decides to take that damage.
I would almost risk it on the Vanguard, like just because that's the one you have to block the hardest for.
Right.
So here comes the attack here. The Chos will restand after battle. So yeah, see, there we go.
Let's take it. There's the crit.
And there's the crit. Yep. So we are taking 2 damage. We're at 4. Can we live this? Okay, that's a crit. I can't tell what the other card. That's Eternity Tracers. I think that's game.
Looks like that's it. That's
so game. Seraph is going to the finals.
There we go. You know, sometimes that's how it breaks down. You know.
Yep.
Man, Miguel, very well played though. Did
of
as
course.
much as they could to try and try and guard through that turn, but you know, even with all that extra shield buffing, made it so that you know, even with that, still wasn't quite enough to make it through the wide board and high power that Narukami was just pumping out that turn.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that it was very well done. The Narukami player was aware that they had to just swing big and swing over the guards to just basically just. That's why they kept going into exterminate. They kind of just knew that that was their out because again, like Narukami just dies to the big numbers, but DP dies to the widespread of attacks. So knowing that if you're playing correctly, you can get out, and I think that Sanctitude was insane. But again, going back, I'm almost thinking like if a different stride would have been more useful there. I think Miguel was baking on the Unibird thinking like, oh, maybe they won't have the PGs. But then if you do the math, which is what I was thinking, we didn't see any PGs drop for a while. So clearly like Seraph was setting up for a while. So I'm almost thinking if like just saying screw it and going directly into Gallop would have been better. But there's also the GB issue. So I don't know. It's tough. Or maybe Gmeo Glass just to get some cards out of deck and crit pressure, maybe multi-attack there to kind of force out the hand. I don't know. It was a tough call. Unibird's insane, but at the same time that the Sanctitude just shuts it down.
Yeah, I think I could definitely see where Miguel was going there, especially with like that Laurel in the back row and the Linka going in. It was like, oh, you know, I can get the hit, then I can get the restand regardless. But you know, almost wonder like you said, maybe that X Gallop would have been the move there just to guarantee the restand. Then you're gonna lose drive checks, and then you maybe not have as many chances to break the second piece.
Exactly.
Not an easy decision to make in any case. And both would have been a solid decision as well. So sometimes you just can't always plan around it there. But I think that is going to do it for this second round of our top 8. And we are going to go ahead and throw to the bracket, I think.
Yep, let's go over the bracket. So this is what we have. I'm sad. I'm happy but sad our Celestial player didn't make it, but it's okay. Looks like we have the Chaos Break Dragon versus Narukami. So Link Joker versus Narukami, basically. That will be going into the finals. So this is gonna be very interesting. We got Lock into Bind.
Yeah, this would be interesting to see because I don't think I've sorry, a Chaos Breaker and Narukami is the other match in the round.
Sorry, my apologies. My apologies.
No problem. We have two Narukami in top 4, so
yeah. True.
Can get a little confusing there. But yeah, so we could end up having Naru versus Naru. You know, I mean, it would be interesting to see. It'd be kind of funny too, I guess, after not seeing Narukami at all yesterday, and then see them just implode at the very end here. Or we could see Chaos versus Naru potentially as well. It seems like so very, very, very interesting. But yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see what our final round shakes out as, and who is going to get that top place here. But I think with that we can probably go to a brief break while the rest of the players kind of figure out the finishes to their games, and we'll be right back with the finals of BRO 2023.
Stay tuned for the finals.
Cardfight Vanguard. I sever and manifest causality. Boldly cast it aside, this feeble, unstable world. Booster Pack, Evenfall Onslaught. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Witness the strongest band together on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Ari Fureta, from commonplace to world's strongest. Trial deck and booster pack. On sale November 17th. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. The Stage Girl Silver Screen Review is now a card game on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Review Starlight, the movie booster pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The love story revolving the quintuplets once again comes to the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The quintessential quintuplets movie booster pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Cardfight Vanguard! What's that? It's a grade 11? Can Team Wildress create a new future? Booster Pack, Flight of Chakrabarthi. Bushiroad.
Genic Ingenious Supplies.
Weiss Schwarz. Water, earth, fire, air. Join Aang and his friends in their adventure to master the 4 elements and defeat Fire Lord Ozai, Avatar The Last Airbender, Trial Deck Plus, Booster Pack, and Supply Set. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Experience the full-blown high school story on the stage of Weiss Schwarz once again. Saikano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend Flat Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Cardfight Vanguard! Encounters with heroes! Stories that will shape your soul are waiting for you! Booster Pack, Clash of the Heroes! Bushiroad!
Weiss Schwarz. The Academy was the Girls' Orchard. The popular visual novel series joins the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The fruit of Grisaya Trial Deck and Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The name of Eins Oregon continues to expand on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Booster Pack Nazarick Tomb of the Undead Volume 2. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
For our fellow card fighters and Saniwa, your powerful Token Danshi will be making a return in Token Rumble Online 2023. Look forward to brand new mechanics that will grant them new strength and power in their Kiwame forms. Do bugs bug you? I sure hope not, because we'll be descending into the insect kingdom with Mushi King. Watch out for these super powered insects crawling your way into Booster Pack 13, Flight of Chakrabarthi. What do you dream of when you dream of duets? I dream of Yume no Kesho. These collaboration promo cards with the Bang Dream AI singing synthesizer feature Poppy and Rose and will be available at the upcoming Bushiroad Expo Asia, Singapore 2023. For our international viewers, these promo cards will also be available at your local game stores. Stay tuned to our social media channels to find out how you can redeem these promo cards. And here's the recap for Cardfight Vanguard.
Weiss Schwarz. Begin a new story with the girls on the stage of Weiss Schwarz once again. Review Starlight Relive Booster Pack. Coming soon. Bushiroad.
Are you dreaming of becoming the world champion? Don't let your dreams be dreams. Take part in the upcoming World Invitational 2023 Last Chance Qualifiers for, well, one last chance to qualify for the World Finals. The Last Chance Qualifiers will be open to all participants except those who have already earned a sponsored invite to the World Finals. I know many of you are raring to go, so here are the locations where the Last Chance Qualifiers will be held.
Weiss Schwarz. It's time to show off the best performance on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Intro Deck and Booster Pack, Bang Dream, Girls Band Party, 5th Anniversary, now on sale. Bushiroad.
A world with magic and science, parallel universe bathed in crimson, a magical high school, a virtual reality MMORPG world. It's time to take a trip down memory lane with Dengeki Bunko. Nostalgic titles like A Certain Magical Index, Shakugan no Shana, The Irregular at Magic High School, Sword Art Online, and many more are making a comeback with new illustrations. With 51 titles included in the set, there's definitely something for everyone. For our Bang Dream fans, Trial Deck Plus Bang Dream My Goal will also be performing on a Weiss Schwarz stage near you. The set features new illustrations that fans will want to add to their existing collections. Let's count down to the party! Premium Booster Bang Dream Girls Band Party Countdown Collection will also be performing on a stage to celebrate their 6th anniversary with glittering illustrations of your favorite Bang Dream girls. Don't miss out on this chance to update your collection with these new cards. From one idol to the next. Do you hear those cheers for an encore? We're happy to announce that Bochi and her friends will be bringing their performance to the stage of Weiss Schwarz as well. We'd love to have them now, but it's gonna take a while to convince Bochi to come out of her room, so we'll let you know once we manage to do so. One can never have enough idols performing, but heroines need a stage too. The heroines from Sai Kano will be making their comeback on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The series may have reached its finale a few years back with the movie installment, but no matter who you root for, this is your chance to create a different ending for your favorite girl. Did you catch my clue at the start of this segment? We're returning to the world of Remnant in Premium Booster Ruby. Join Team Ruby and their newfound allies as they protect their world from the Grim. Intern-kun has shown me some tweets and I'm really impressed with your collections, and I look forward to seeing your updated collections once this set launches next year. That's quite a lot to take in. In case you missed it, here's a summary of what we've announced so far.
Cardfight Vanguard! Your deck will become so much stronger! Festival Booster 2023 members. Bushiroad.
Trick or treat! Welcome to the Bushiroad English Conference Autumn 2023. With Halloween right around the corner, our pumpkin spice lattes seem to have been replaced by carved pumpkins. Ready your hearts and your wallets, you're in for a fright. Now that we're halfway through the Bushiroad Championship Series 2023 season, if you've been living under a pumpkin, the World Finals will take place on February 3rd, 2024 at Akihabara UDX. That's right, we're heading back to Tokyo, Japan. I can't wait to see all of you again and crown some new world champions. If you need even more motivation to take part, here's your first look at the promo cards you receive for participating. And the champions for each game and format will be receiving these. Oh, those are some impressive promo cards. If you were to win an invite, fret not. BCS is still ongoing, so you still have a chance to earn an invite at the following locations. Here are the dates for North and Latin America, Europe, Asia and Oceania. The top 3 winners for each game and format will be invited to participate at the World Finals. What's more, if you emerge champion of your region, your flight and accommodations will be on us.
Weiss Schwarz. 10 years journey with Sword Art Online. Now on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Booster Pack Animation Sword Art Online 10th Anniversary. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The Kansen of Azure Lane join the battle on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Trial decks and Booster Pack Azure Lane. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Shadowverse, which took the world by storm, greets a second dawn. As a trading card game. Arise, warriors. Be anointed in light, and soar towards a horizon more brilliant than you've ever seen before. Shadowverse Evolve. Build a deck to conquer a new age. Choose from 6 classes. Swordcraft, Runecraft, Dragoncraft, Forestcraft, Havencraft. And the Shadowverse Evolve Original, Abysscraft. Further bolster your forces with cards from the versatile neutral class. And grow your power beyond reckoning. Storm the battlefield with powerful followers. Or control the tides with masterful spells. The future glows at your fingertips. It is time for the newest chapter of our long, ever-shifting story. Shadowverse Evolve.
Cardfight Vanguard. I sever and manifest causality. Boldly cast to the side this feeble, unstable world. Booster Pack Evenfall Onslaught. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Witness the strongest band together on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Arifureta, from commonplace to world's strongest. Trial deck and Booster Pack. On sale November 17th. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. The Stage Girl Silver Screen Review is now a card game on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Review Starlight, the movie Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The love story revolving the quintuplets once again comes to the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The quintessential...
Alrighty, we are back from our break. We just finished the, what was it, semi-finals, I think it's called. Okay. I always get semi and quarterfinals confused. Maybe they're the same thing. I really don't know. But we just saw Miguel and Seraph Miguel coming up short there with DP, and it is going to be Narukami moving on against Narukami. So after not seeing any Narukami all day
now we get
yesterday,
all of it.
We come to today, and it's been a lot of Narukami, which, you know, it's a strong deck. Strong deck.
It is.
It's just how we go there. But let's go ahead and take a peek at the bracket, and I'll let you two run that down for us real quick before we get into our championship round.
Yep, so looks like we started off with our 8, went down to 4. Now it's down to basically Dylan and Sarah fighting it out. Naru versus Naru to just decide which Narukami is going to be the first place champion for BRO Premium 2023.
Yeah, both of these decks are also going quite a bit differently compared to what the list was before with Demolition Dragon, and they both decide to go different routes, where one of them is taking Chainbolt Dragon for extra consistency on finding those Vanquishers, and then the other decide to go with Rising Phoenix in order to keep a board filled up and being able to constantly have units in play to give power to as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think let's see which of these approaches is going to be the superior one here. I think our match is ready, so let's go on and let our players get to it.
All right, this is it, guys. This is the moment. We are facing Narukami versus Narukami. We're fighting for the first place. The nerves are settling in. This is it. This is going to be a pretty tough matchup. This is going to truly decide like this is where the builds start really mattering, because when you build Narukami, you know you're going to face Narukami, and you got to think, can I beat the mirror with my deck? And we're going to see that come through very strongly here.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because, you know, Narukami obviously has been very prevalent, you know, just throughout this weekend, and honestly throughout BCS and Springfest season as well. It's been a very, very dominating deck with just such a solid game plan. And I think when you come into a matchup like this, where like we do know that there are some slight changes between the two decks, and it's really going to kind of depend, you know, how this early game kind of shakes out, who is going to kind of dictate the pace as we get going, because ideally, like, you're both playing Narukami, so you already know all the moves that the other person can do, so it's just going to be a matter of you know, like kind of like that self-same kind of challenge of like, they're going to be doing all the things that I'm going to be doing. How is this going to shake out?
Yep, exactly. And I'm going to be looking at the builds here real quick, because one of these is running the Phoenix Bird, one of them is not, and that advantage between having a board state versus not having a board state, knowing when to call those Phoenixes is super important, because it's going to get bound. So you got to make sure you make the right call with them too.
Yeah.
That's a Hanley right too. Ooh,
yes, that's actually what I was about ready to mention. And Dylan is the only one of these two playing Hanley. So this could potentially be something that helps decide this match if we see it come up later, just because that can be such a hard stopgap to some aggro from your opponent. So we'll see if that is could end up being a deciding factor between these two.
Yeah, Seth ended up whiffing that Spark Rays ride effect. Still going to be swinging for a good 14k. And if Seth does have a booster with it, then it's going to be a really hard attack to guard for Dylan. And if it does hit, then Seth will be able to dig deeper into the deck. We'll see how many rearguard Seth does decide to call here, or if they want to preserve their pieces for an exterminate turn later on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting here too to see. Okay, we're gonna do a Mighty Bolt Dragoon check top 5, but I almost feel like being on the play here may even be worth just seeing the Vanquisher come in too, which is going to be handy for this next turn. But I was gonna say, I almost feel like just rushing down might be the best course of action here, especially when your opponent's sitting on a Hanali, which is a little bit lower power. If you can just knock them off balance before the game really gets going, that could pay huge dividends later on.
I completely agree. I think this is definitely it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. All right, here we're choosing what to discard. Definitely want to keep that Vanquisher unless you know we have another one. But pitching the Nusku. Dang.
Yes.
Bye bye Nusku.
All right, and we see not opting to go to a rush here. Maybe don't have the hand economy for it, unfortunately. But still, we see that I can't quite tell if that's the quick shield or the guardian shield. I think it's the quick shield though. G shield. Okay, so big shield.
Yes, big shield.
yeah.
Basically, this is an overtrigger to pass at this point, or it should be because it's 22, I believe, into 20. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's a 1. It's a 26 to 22, or sorry, 26 to 26. It's a 1. It's a 1 to pass. It's 22 to 26. I keep forgetting Hanoi is a 6K. So.
Right.
But it was a 1 to pass basically.
All right, and it seems like it was a blank on the drive check there. And a move that should look very similar to Seraph. We got the Spark Rays coming down to check the top 5. Grabbing a Cho-Oh here, it looks like.
Oh, that was Cho. I thought that was the Vanquisher.
I
was like, oh, it's the same card. But no, I see it now. It's the Cho. I can see the red. Or more red and blue cards. The Spark Rays is just such a... It's just wild to me. The Nisku and the Spark Rays combination with Demolition, if you choose to run it, it's just such a powerful combination. That, or if you're going for the Sweet Command, another very powerful combination. Just so many good cards. Like, Dark Howie just does not stop.
Yeah,
even with the ban list in mind.
It's a lot of. I think I mentioned earlier. It's a lot of pieces that are pretty just like solid on their own, but when you get the whole package together, makes for a very, very well oiled machine that just hums and does exactly what you want it to more often than not.
Yep, exactly. Choosing here, very. I always like this play that Dylan likes to show, or just this idea of, okay, I'm just gonna call some 2s out and I'm just gonna poke. Like it's always like it's poking range, not committing too hard. That is a defense there. It's just a nice little draw there coming through.
Yep.
So still, but just always pokes. It's very interesting to watch. Like Dylan does it. I think Dylan did this last time too. He just set up little pokes.
Yeah. Those pokes can be interesting too, because it can mess with the opponent a little bit, especially if you're sitting on a bunch of high shield in hand and not really any small shield to be able to block. It's like, do I really want to use these bigger shields that'll be useful later on? Do I just take the pokes and then risk not getting a damage trigger? You know, there's a lot of decisions just in committing a couple of pokes to the board.
Exactly, especially since those pokes turn into draw regardless. Like, for example, the card we just saw, it just went to Soul True card. So it's just, okay, just free value.
Ooh, Seth does decide to do Vanquisher here. This is one of the interesting spots in this.
Oh,
and do the... Oh, okay.
There we go. I think you blinked out of existence for a moment there.
You can repeat that.
Okay, we're back. So the interesting spot in this matchup is that Zoas... Oh, he doesn't decide to flip. So if you go Zoas, then you can get the 2 XLs, but then the Naokami player on the other side of the matchup will be able to go Exterminate and just have a really strong turn afterwards, having the plus 40k. But they decided to go Zoas and not flip the other Zoas and not get those excels. So they're still going to have a pretty decent turn and set up the bind zone a bit, remove that Cho from play, but also not give the excels for Dylan to get super powered from.
Yep. That's a very good insight there. Something to kind of keep track of, because you don't want Exterminate to just suddenly go from a 20k to a 40k front row.
Yeah,
that's extremely lethal.
be very, very devastating. That's an excellent kind of thing too, because I always think it's interesting when you see players choose not to use skills. I think that's really when you can kind of like tell like the skill level of a player, because you know, for me, I tend to just be like, yes, do everything all the time, get more circles, do the things. But like here, showing this bit of restraint is ideally going to, like you mentioned, make sure that Exterminate that, you know, more likely than not is coming, is not going to immediately start beating your face in.
Exactly.
It's really interesting. Dylan decided not to guard any. Well, he chose to guard all of it and not take any of the damage.
Yeah.
So he might not be looking to do an exterminate next turn. It might just do the same type of play with Zoras and Vanquisher.
Yeah, it's possible since now that Dylan's aware that the bait wasn't there, you know, the Excel markers didn't come out, so it's possible that Dylan's gonna probably play it safe too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really kind of helping to like dictate the flow of the game here. And I almost wonder if you're in Dylan's shoes here, do you maybe go harder because you're going to be sitting at 0 damage potentially, so that way you can just safely take a majority of the hits while pumping out more aggression than your opponent did. It's going to be very interesting to see as we come into this next turn here. Oh, taking the damage here. Okay, it seems like they were debating on guarding here, but taking 2 damage, it looks like. Okay, very interesting.
See how Dylan decides to retaliate here. Will they go for the same type of play? It looks like it. They rode the Vanquisher. We'll see what they choose to stride into. They can still go exterminate and be able to bind that Cho and still have the 2 up in front row. But they could also do a Zoras or maybe even a Stunverse to try to clear out the board easier.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it like kind of mirroring the play, going to the Zoras but not getting the markers, kind of like getting ahead in binds too, could make things pretty interesting as well, and then maybe even setting up for a potential Stunverse next turn. But we'll really have to see here. Oh wait, is that
looks like we went into Stunverse.
Okay, so we're going straight into Stunverse. Got it. Okay.
Interesting. That's an interesting play. I personally, I don't play Narukami too much. I don't know if this is like even smart to do here.
Well, it will end up putting at least 4 into bind, which means that there's going to be a draw and a discard to bind for Seraph here, and Seraph just binding a PG from hand, it looks like. So this is actually kind of interesting. I don't know if I would have expected this as like the retaliating play here, but still very, very interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, I think this sets up Bulwark actually.
Okay, no, we're actually going for the Stunverse and then going to activate the Zoras afterward. So we are basically just emptying the entire board, then going into Zoras. I totally forgot that this could happen because the new strides are in main phase. So you are able to do this Stunverse play and then immediately transition into Zoras here.
Yes. Yes, that is something you can do, which is probably the most insane part about Narukami, is being able to do that play.
All right. See, we got a G guard coming through here.
It was an impede pretty quickly. So we'll see what Dylan decides to bind here. Decides to bind the Esper there. Now this does retire, so that does proc Vanquisher's GB2 and now sets it at base 14k for the turn. And Dylan losing that Esper there pretty early can be detrimental later, but if Dylan has enough restanders in hand, then it should be all right. And with this drive check, we hit a crit, a Phoenix, and I think a Spark Raise.
Looked like it, yeah. Seraph gonna take 2 here. It seems like Dylan here prioritized that Zuitan to get that draw more, which is also important because that means it's gonna leave nothing on the board to get bound by Seraph, which could make a big difference here.
Exactly. Just choosing to keep the board empty to not escalate that bind. So I think it's important. But honestly, these G guards here that are coming through, I think this is pretty smart. The reason being is, again, we're setting up for that GB8 push. Eventually, you're going to want to just go into that and just kind of close out the game.
Yeah. Which very well could end up being the case too. Because that was a double impede turn. I think we're sitting at GB5 now. So one more stride turn and we definitely have a guaranteed closer dragon coming in, but it seems like there's a little bit of debate on what to do next. Obviously, this is both these players are kind of like trying to go tit for tat here, trying to aggress, but not too much. So it's making it for a very, very tricky spot here. See the stun version coming back in retaliation here.
Yeah, basically.
And because Seth didn't flip up that second Zoss, he can do that same exact play that Dylan just did and be able to get that Zoss back on Vanguard again. And now both players have 4 more in bind, so both players have access to Bulwark, other than Seth after he just did both impede, so now he doesn't have access to his G guards anymore, actually.
Yeah, the double impede did kind of shut that all down. I can only imagine like maybe if there was a third heal available, may have tried to turbo to the GB8, but I'm not sure how wise that would have been in this situation, given
it's a little
the setup
early
here. Yeah.
A little early, especially since we haven't seen as many G guards come out from Dylan. But I think this is fine. If they can just live another turn without getting the Excel markers going, I think this is fine. Something also to keep in mind, I kind of went out like from my existence, but they've been writing cards that don't have Excel markers on them to begin with, which is also just something to kind of keep track of. There's been no sweep dragons code out at all. Just proves how strong Exterminate is. They're both playing around Exterminate.
Yeah, very, very potent card that is. All right, and yep, we do see the Zorus coming in here.
Keeping it very tame here. Just calling 2 cards. Just keeping it nice and simple. Just even if there's any binding going on, it will be minor.
Yeah, both players, like you mentioned, both players know just how powerful of a card Exterminate is, and neither one is wanting to give the power up to the other player.
Yeah, they don't want to give it up. I mean, I would do the same thing. Like that, 20K is already a lot. Like, yeah, I don't want to think about any more than that. Especially since both their hands are getting pretty, I would say, very small and smaller as the game is going.
Yeah, this is I would say like peak mirror match here.
Just, yeah.
Both players being very, very careful, very, very cautious.
Yep. Oh, another PG coming down. Very useful here. We definitely want that draw, making that Nusco hit now. Getting a Cho, which is also important, and another one of those grade 1 cards. And is that another defensive? Is another defensive draw? Ooh, all right.
Yep, looks like it.
So we're gonna do stride pass.
It's very interesting to see, because like I usually think of Narukami as being a very fast, aggressive, explosive deck, but it seems like the way to kind of counter that is to just put them against each other, and then then they'll slow down quite a bit.
yeah, this has been usually games close out by this point, but yeah, we're just still rocking and rolling here. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is a very hard mirror. Because you just never know what the stride is going to be and where it's going to take, where it's going to take you. And the hand economy is just so risky. So I can understand why they're trying to play this out so carefully.
Yeah, and it looks like we went into an Exterminate on Dylan's turn here, really only getting the 1 draw off the 1 open front row. And it seems like they counter blasted already. Maybe I'm getting my costs for Exterminate mixed up, but I could have sworn that the CB, or maybe the CB was for the Vanquisher. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, it was something else, and they're going into it now, so they're going to counter blast, putting up the 20K power. Again, we're back in just basically annoying our opponent range.
Yep. That's exactly what this is.
I am noticing hand-wise, I think Seraph's in a worser position right now, but might recuperate here. We'll have to see. But again, I also just have to keep in mind, we're also playing around G guards, which is something also scary. So here we have the Cho. Okay, right. And then, a Forbidal. Okay, interesting. So now the Cho's going to restand here too. So that's something else. That card's coming back.
Yep, that's just a lot of pieces right there.
Yep. Maybe they're thinking if they want to restand it or not, because it is a counter blast that they have to think about. I mean, I would opt to restand it, but I'm also just like not an Arcami player.
Right. I feel like if I were in the position, I would probably want to do the restand just because I mean, with as slow as this game has gone, I feel like I would want to push more than not.
Yeah.
Just to try and like start inching towards a close of this game. But that being said, I mean, this is like the finals of the entire weekend, so I can understand taking it a bit more carefully. And like we are opting to do the restand here.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you. And also, just something to keep in mind, they both do have Asperadias in their deck, so something else to kind of keep in the back of your head.
Especially with Dylan now, drive checking that Forbidal just means that if those Asperadias aren't already there, they're gonna be there.
Yep, exactly. Forbidal, one of the craziest decards that's been printed. Which, something to keep in mind, one of them is running it, one of them is not. Obviously, we saw the one that runs it, but so that is a way to speed run into Asperadia really fast, and Seraph doesn't have access to that.
So you got the PG coming down here, discarding a Cho-Oh, which is interesting. There is a way to get that back if they choose to go into sweep command, but could also just potentially signal that the gas could be running out a little bit on Seraph's side of things. But we will just have to see when it comes back to their turn whether or not that'll be the case.
Exactly. And I think here we should be active or potentially trying to kill. Because I think here you need a really good turn, and otherwise it's you know that yep okay, we're going in we got
see the sweep command coming in here.
We got the Excel. This is I think Sarah's aware that this is the turn where we have to close out the game. 3 to 6 right here, because I think they're very aware they don't have another turn. So I think they're aware this is their last turn. So we might be going. So here we are going for the damage play, as you were discussing. We're moving some stuff up, probably getting another Excel marker here.
Here we
go.
Gonna call back that Cho-Oh too, I'd imagine.
I agree with you. I'm almost positive that there's Asperadias in that hand too. I'm pretty sure Asperadias are gonna be coming down as well. I'm not 100%. But back of my mind is like there has to be there.
Yeah, I feel like in this situation you would hope so. Wow, pitching it. Okay, well.
Oh, we're going for exterminate. That's interesting. So I was thinking that maybe the GB8 would have been the play here. But yeah, that's interesting. I'm surprised. I guess that might have been their only option to pitch, if that's the only option. It's the only option. So, but wow. Okay, can we finish here? Because that is All right.
No, there's definitely potential for it. Basically, I imagine we're just gonna see just cards hit the board, and then just gonna give them a lot of power, and we're just gonna try and just beat down as much as possible.
100%.
Yeah, just
I do find the exterminate. I do find the exterminate really interesting because the GB8 binds the opponent's entire drop zone, and then it gives power for cards in both players' bind zones. So because of that stun verse that Dylan did earlier, this would have been really big. But if Sarah did do it, and then Dylan was able to live through that turn, then Dylan, if he uses 2 impedes during this turn and gets to the GB8, then he'll be able to go into his GB8, bind the Seraph's bind zone, and then his numbers will just be a lot bigger than what Seraph's would have been. So this is like a nice in-between with the exterminate, giving a little bit less power, but gives a more of a safety net into Dylan's next turn if it doesn't end here.
This is gosh, I'm so sad about the Asperadia going like that.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been like the push that was needed. But now I'm thinking like, I don't know. Now I'm thinking otherwise,
Yeah. And I think we're gonna start seeing the hand start to go down here. Optin take a damage here. Looks like it was a Nusku that went to damage, so no defensive triggers here.
Exactly. Also, a good track of like we have a lot of board here to work with. So again, this G guards that we're seeing right now could help a little bit to play around the impedes and the counter strikes and all these funny cards.
Seems like we do have a G guard coming down, but I can't quite see what the card is. I'm going to guess probably
Bulwark.
A bulwark. Okay. So
So
we got a
behind the
bulwark coming in
Cho.
here with the amount of this is interesting because bulwark is one of the only G guards that lets the player choose what is bound, but it is restricted to units that are rested. So bringing the bulwark down here, let them specifically target that that Cho-Oh to get it out of the way, which is going to help quite a bit here.
Yeah, there's no guardian in the card, so if there's a crit that hits.
Yeah, I would have killed.
Oh, a heal coming in.
That's important.
Yeah, that's very important. Gonna go
That's
back
a very
up
impactful
here.
heal. Yep. Okay, it gives room for that, and also gives room for potential any more G guards if there is any possibility for any more G guard to happen. I'm not exactly sure how many are flipped at this point.
I think after the double impede, G guarding is done on Seraph's side. Yes.
Okay.
Alrighty, and Dylan very scarily making his way to 5 damage here.
Yep. I think they're gonna survive, but gosh, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, it's gonna depend on what that hand is gonna be looking like after this turn.
Yep, exactly. So they're just basically discussing the block here.
Yeah, that chain bolt is a bit smaller of a attack here. Already used the booster previously.
So let's see, is this blockable? Let's see, it should be 17, 27, 37, 47, if I'm not mistaken. It's a pretty big number, but if they were able, if they took damage early from one of the other attacks, they should be able to block this one.
Yes, I think so.
Looks like we're thinking about G guarding. I think Dylan is thinking about G guarding. Maybe they're gonna be the one that's gonna go into that GBA. I'm just waiting for the GBA to come out. At this point, that's all that's left. Like, but then you still need room to, actually stride, which is
right.
So looks like we are G guarding.
If we see that impede come down, I think there's definitely a chance for that GB8 to come down. And they, I mean, it is named Closer Dragon for a reason. Looks like it's maybe Counteract Dragon instead here.
That does look like a Counteract Dragon, which is the one that your opponent chooses 2, and if they choose nothing, then you get just a bunch of shield, basically. I think they chose 1.
Which does lower the shield, but because Counteract specifically requires it to be front row, you can't bind the other front row without also giving up your attack. So the most you can do here is just get rid of that 1.
Yep, exactly.
So that's going to be
that puts at 25.
Yes.
Oh, they took it. That's it.
Wow.
That's game. Sereth is our champion.
Wow.
2023 premium. Whew.
Wow. I almost wonder.
I wasn't expecting that.
Dylan might have been trying to bluff there almost, just because dropping that Counteract Dragon there, it can almost seem like, well, I'm just going to guard it anyway, so you might as well just bind the other one, like kind of like just a subtle kind of play there to try and work around it. But when you're in a mirror match, you've got to kind of go into it knowing that your opponent probably knows just as much as you do about what your cards are gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was I'm not gonna lie, I thought they had it because they took those early pokes, and I was thinking, okay, well, they're fine, because theoretically what they could have done is they could have actually counteracted there, you know, and then they could have just taken that big guy because that big guy was pretty large. That Sweet Command was like 42-ish or so, maybe 47. So it was a pretty big one, whereas the other side was smaller. So I'm actually almost wondering if like the numbers were a little, you know, because I feel like the Counteract Dragon definitely could have blocked one of the attacks, and so it was still 25k shield, you know, whatever they chose to give up. But it was very interesting. I think they were definitely trying to play mind games, and I think it went against them.
Yeah. You know, it's like I said, it's a gamble. You know, sometimes you win it big, sometimes you don't. You know.
Yeah. Ooh, that was risky. That was definitely risky. But sorry, I'm trying to
catching the breath
there. So fast. It just I was thinking like, okay, GB, it's coming down.
Yeah. I was right there with you. I was imagining there was gonna be one more turn, but you know, looks like the hand wasn't as healthy as Dylan would have liked it to have been. But we'll go ahead. We'll take a short break real quick, and when we come back, we will have an interview with Seraph, our winner of BRO 2023. Don't go away. You're not going to want to miss it.
Cardfight Vanguard. I sever and manifest causality. Boldly casted aside this feeble, unstable world. Booster Pack, Evenfall Onslaught. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Witness the strongest band together on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Ari Fureta, from commonplace to world's strongest. Trial deck and booster pack. On sale November 17th. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. The Stage Girl Silver Screen Review is now a card game on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Review Starlight, the movie booster pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The love story revolving the quintuplets once again comes to the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The quintessential quintuplets movie booster pack, now on sale. Bushiroad.
Team Wildress create a new future? Booster Pack, Flight of Chakrabarthi. Bushiroad.
Genic Ingenious Supplies.
Weiss Schwarz. Water, earth, fire, air. Join Aang and his friends in their adventure to master the 4 elements and defeat Fire Lord Ozai, Avatar The Last Airbender, Trial Deck Plus, Booster Pack, and Supply Set. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Experience the full-blown high school story on the stage of Weiss Schwarz once again. Saikano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend Flat Booster Pack, now on sale. Bushiroad.
Cardfight Vanguard! Encounters with heroes! Stories that will shape your soul are waiting for you! Booster Pack, Clash of the Heroes! Bushiroad!
Weiss Schwarz. The Academy was the Girls' Orchard. The popular visual novel series joins the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The fruit of Grisaya Trial Deck and Booster Pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The name of Eins Oregon continues to expand on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Booster Pack Nazareth Tomb of the Undead Volume 2. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
For our fellow card fighters and Saniwa, your powerful Token Danshi will be making a return in Token Rumble Online 2023. Look forward to brand new mechanics that will grant them new strength and power in their Kiwame forms. Do bugs bug you? I sure hope not, because we'll be descending into the insect kingdom with Mushi King. Watch out for these super powered insects crawling your way into Booster Pack 13, Flight of Chakrabarti. What do you dream of when you dream of duets? I dream of Yume no Kesho. These collaboration promo cards with the Bang Dream AI singing synthesizer feature Poppy and Rose and will be available at the upcoming Bushiroad Expo Asia, Singapore 2023. For our international viewers, these promo cards will also be available at your local game stores. Stay tuned to our social media channels to find out how you can redeem these promo cards. And here's the recap for Cardfight Vanguard.
Weiss Schwarz. Begin a new story with the girls on the stage of Weiss Schwarz once again. Review Starlight Real Life Booster Pack. Coming soon. Bushiroad.
Are you dreaming of becoming the world champion? Don't let your dreams be dreams. Take part in the upcoming World Invitational 2023 Last Chance Qualifiers for, well, one last chance to qualify for the World Finals. The Last Chance Qualifiers will be open to all participants except those who have already earned a sponsored invite to the World Finals. I know many of you are raring to go, so here are the locations where the Last Chance Qualifiers will be held.
Weiss Schwarz. It's time to show off the best performance on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Intro Deck and Booster Pack, Bang Dream, Girls Band Party, 5th Anniversary. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
A world with magic and science, parallel universe bathed in crimson, a magical high school, a virtual reality MMORPG world. It's time to take a trip down memory lane with Dengeki Bunko. Nostalgic titles like A Certain Magical Index, Shakugan no Shana, The Irregular at Magic High School, Sword Art Online, and many more are making a comeback with new illustrations. With 51 titles included in the set, there's definitely something for everyone. For our Bang Dream fans, Trial Deck Plus Bang Dream My Goal will also be performing on a Weiss Schwarz stage near you. The set features new illustrations that fans will want to add to their existing collections. Let's count down to the party! Premium Booster Bang Dream Girls Band Party Countdown Collection will also be performing on a stage to celebrate their 6th anniversary with glittering illustrations of your favourite Bang Dream girls. Don't miss out on this chance to update your collection with these new cards. From one idol to the next. You hear those cheers for an encore? We're happy to announce that Bochi and her friends will be bringing their performance to the stage of Weiss Schwarz as well. We'd love to have them now, but it's gonna take a while to convince Bochi to come out of her room, so we'll let you know once we manage to do so. One can never have enough idols performing, but heroines need a stage too. The heroines from Sai Kano will be making their comeback on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The series may have reached its finale a few years back with the movie installment, but no matter who you root for, this is your chance to create a different ending for your favourite girl. Did you catch my clue at the start of this segment? We're returning to the world of Remnant in Premium Booster Ruby. Join Team Ruby and their newfound allies as they protect their world from the Grim. Intern Kun has shown me some tweets and I'm really impressed with your collections, and I look forward to seeing your updated collections once this set launches next year. That's quite a lot to take in. In case you missed it, here's a summary of what we've announced so far.
Cardfight Vanguard! Your deck will become so much stronger! Festival Booster 2023! Dressed up Lyrical Monasterio members! Bushiroad!
Trick or treat! Welcome to the Bushiroad English Conference Autumn 2023. With Halloween right around the corner, our pumpkin spice lattes seem to have been replaced by carved pumpkins. Ready your hearts and your wallets, you're in for a fright. Now that we're halfway through the Bushiroad Championship Series 2023 season, if you've been living under a pumpkin, the World Finals will take place on February 3rd, 2024 at Akihabara UDX. That's right, we're heading back to Tokyo, Japan. I can't wait to see all of you again and crown some new world champions. If you need even more motivation to take part, here's your first look at the promo cards you receive for participating. And the champions for each game and format will be receiving these. Oh, those are some impressive promo cards. If you're yet to win an invite, fret not. BCS is still ongoing, so you still have a chance to earn an invite at the following locations. Here are the dates for North and Latin America, Europe, Asia and Oceania. The top 3 winners for each game and format will be invited to participate at the World Finals. What's more, if you emerge champion of your region, your flight and accommodations will be on us.
Weiss Schwarz. 10 years journey with Sword Art Online. Now on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Booster Pack Animation Sword Art Online 10th Anniversary. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The Kansen of Azure Lane join the battle on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Trial Decks and Booster Pack Azure Lane. Now on sale. Bushiroad.
Shadowverse, which took the world by storm, greets a second dawn. As a trading card game. Arise, warriors. Be anointed in light, and soar towards a horizon more brilliant than you've ever seen before. Shadowverse Evolve. Build a deck to conquer a new age. Choose from 6 classes. Swordcraft, Runecraft, Dragoncraft, Forestcraft, Havencraft. And the Shadowverse Evolve Original, Abysscraft. Further bolster your forces with cards from the versatile neutral class. And grow your power beyond reckoning. Storm the battlefield with powerful followers. Or control the tides with masterful spells. The future glows at your fingertips. It is time for the newest chapter of our long, ever-shifting story. Shadowverse Evolve.
Cardfight Vanguard. I sever and manifest causality. Boldly cast it aside, this feeble, unstable world. Booster Pack, Evenfall Onslaught. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. Witness the strongest band together on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Arifureta, from commonplace to world's strongest. Trial deck and booster pack. On sale November 17th. Bushiroad.
Weiss Schwarz. The Stage Girl Silver Screen Review is now a card game on the stage of Weiss Schwarz. Review Starlight, the movie booster pack. Now on sale. Bushiroad. Weiss Schwarz. The love story revolving the quintuplets once again comes to the stage of Weiss Schwarz. The quintessential quintuplet.
Welcome back, everybody. We are back from that brief break, and we are here finally at our destination. The weekend has come to a close, or is closing, I guess I should say. We have crowned a champion, and we will be hearing from him in just a little bit. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket, at how everything shaped out for this weekend. I will throw it off to my lovely co-casters to run down what we saw through here today. Orange, I'll pass it to you first.
All right, so I don't remember off the top of my head what all the decks were, but we had Chanel facing a Nguyen. I'm even worse at saying these names. Then we had Dylan into KJ, and then we had the really long name. I don't know the names right now, but basically something. Yeah, Vijay, but we'll work with that. And then Sarah, and then we had Miguel versus Blazing, which was that deck. Those two, I remember, was DP, and we had the Celestio decks. And I'll give it to Deck Flare to do the easier names in the top 4 section.
Yeah, so the matchup we watched in top 4 was Seraph versus Miguel, and Seraph was able to close that one out with a really strong Exterminate turn against the Die Liner. And then the other side, we had another Narukami matchup against Chaos Breaker, which was Dylan versus Win. And yeah, and then in the finals, we just had Dylan versus Seraph, and Seraph was barely able to clutch it out with that last Sweep Command attack and was able to win the whole thing.
Ooh.
Yep, that's a pretty good summary of our day so far. I just thought it was funny again how we went all day yesterday, didn't see any Narukami, at least on stream, and then I guess the cream rises to the top. Narukami is just simply too good, cannot be denied, and made it to the top 2 and the top 1, as we'll see here. But I think that's enough kind of chatting about, enough recapping of the events of this weekend. And why don't we hear from the man himself, our premium BRO 2023 champion. We'll have that interview now. All right.
Hello.
Welcome, Sarah. Welcome. And congratulations, first of all, on making it all the way to the top after these 2 days. I guess I'll start us off here with the interview here. I guess mainly, obviously you're playing Narukami, very solid deck, very well proven over the course of Springfest, BCSs, and this weekend as well. Mm-hmm. But despite that, there was that ban list that happened. So were there any matchups over the weekend that you were worried about going into, or was it all just pretty much smooth sailing just on the backs of Narukami?
Honestly, there's nothing I'm really too scared to see. Like, I don't like playing mirrors personally, but other than that, like, Chaos is kind of an annoying matchup, but it's winnable. I have a decent amount of practice against it, and I don't know. I was ready to play against Chaos, but that's really the only thing besides a mirror that I was like dreading, to be honest. Or Loop. Loop's just a
sure. And then of course, dreading the mirror, and then that's the final round there.
I know, right?
But I'll go ahead. I'll pass to Orange next for a question.
Hey, all right. So I was thinking, the ban list did come out, and it's like, all right, you have the option of sweep or demolition dragon. You chose to go the sweep route. What made you decide, like, okay, I'm going to keep the dragon, the grade 3 dragon. I'm going to, not go the demolition approach and kind of lose out in the early game?
I thought a lot about it and which to choose, and it just came down to like sweep is too good at generating markers, clearing the front row easily, like for a soul blast, rather than like if you didn't have sweep, you still have Vanquisher on stride, which is a counter blast, but that's harder. And then just like finding a grade 3 that's better than Steve is hard. So I don't know. Thought a lot about it, but sweep's too good. And like especially if you go into Chaos, sweep is like really your only way to get more markers after they Chaos Breaker and get rid of them. So yeah, that was another reason I kept it in.
Okay. I'll pass it along to the next one.
So also another question about your card choices. So with the recent restriction list, you had to lose Demolition Dragon basically from your last answer. And I've seen a lot of different decks try to build around different cards to try to replace that. And in your build, you did Chainbolt Dragoon. What made you decide that over all the others?
For Narcomi cards, there was only 3 options, I thought, which was Rising Phoenix, which my last opponent played, Rollock or Hanali, which he also played. Or you could do like Chainbolt, Phoenix, or the grade 1 PG. It came down to like what I think Naru just needs like strong rides early game. And even though Chainbolt is a dead card after turn 1, like I would way rather ride Chainbolt than Phoenix, Hanali, Rollock, or the grade 1 PG. So and it can just grab you a Vanquisher for free, which is nice. So yeah, that's what it came down to. I did the closest thing was grade 1 PGs, but I didn't really like playing with those.
Right, gotcha. Now time.
Alrighty, so I guess kind of similar to my last question. You mentioned how you were kind of dreading those mirror matches. So I'm kind of curious of like how many mirror matches did you have to play? Was it just that one for the championship here, or did you have to come up with some others along the way?
I played one Narmir in Swiss. Other than that, I didn't play any like doubles actually. I had one. I think it was round 4. To be honest, shouldn't have won that game. I had a double 6 damage healed on him, but happens.
Hey, that's Vanguard.
I didn't have any G guards in hand, which I mean, So,
there you go. There you go.
Just the one other Narumir this weekend.
Not too bad shaking out there, I guess, and especially if you're coming out on top, can't complain too much, I suppose. But yeah, already.
All right, so I want to kind of ask more of we kind of talked a lot about the deck. Like, I want to know more about you. Is this your first time ever topping an event? Have you topped before? Are you planning? Do you want to go to Worlds? Like, what's the move from here?
I've topped once. One more official Bushiroad event, which was last year in Duluth. I top 8'd in V, like the first weekend that I think Steam Maiden was out.
Oh, yep, I was there.
Yes, and I was on Naru. I wasn't scared. So that was my only other official top. I've won some like Crow's Nest and Kingslayer Cards events recently. But yeah, I was looking for another like.
Do I know you? Like, have I seen you before? Because I go to those too. Now I'm starting to think. Sorry.
I think I've seen you there.
Okay.
So yeah, I was looking to go to Worlds. I had a really bad run in Rosemont and Houston. So RIP, I'll be at Duluth. So yeah, it was good to get this top here.
Yay.
Yeah.
Nice. And then for my last question, you spent a lot of time in this tournament, and there was a ton of probably really awesome matches. What was your favorite moment or your favorite game throughout the weekend?
I think I'm going to give a two-part answer. Round 7 of Swiss, I was X1, and I went against VGE, the Highlander player I played against first. And I lost. He opened double Pearl Sister going first and rode down on me. So that was a loss, needless to say. So I was really nervous. I was X2, and I was like, what's going to happen? So I ended up making it in. So that was probably like, obviously my favorite moment was just like the realization that I was going to get top 8 and then going through deck check. And then today, due to the player that unfortunately had to drop from top 8, changed the bracket a little bit. So I was going against him again first round, and I was able to get the run back and go on from there. So that was really nice.
That's really cool. I kind of like that story of like, you come up against somebody, lose the first time, but then when it really counts, you come by with the win. Very, very cool. Well, congratulations once again for making it all the way here. Enjoy your very shiny playset of Chronojet promos and that booster box and that certificate. Hopefully they treat you well. Awesome. But yeah, I think we'll let you go now. We'll release you from our Discord prison here.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Congrats.
Yep. See you guys.
Alrighty, well, that is going to bring our BRO 2023 to a close. The entirety of BRO 2023 to a close. It's been quite a year. Hard to believe that we started doing these all the way back in March with V, and now here we are closing out the year with Premium. I guess as we're closing things out, I'll pass it to you guys. Let you guys kind of sign off to everybody here. Anything you want to get in before we end BRO 2023 for the year? I'll pass it to Orange here first.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I want to say thanks everyone for coming out. And first of all, this is the last BRO for this year. So we just to kind of give you guys a small recap. We had V Premium all in the beginning. Had Weiss, I believe, happened somewhere between standard. I didn't cast for Weiss, obviously. So we had standard happen, and then we had Premium to end it here. And what a road it's been. We've seen some amazing decks go through, some amazing metas go through. It's been really awesome seeing all the players coming in and out. We had some caster movement too. We had some different people kind of come in and out as well, which is also really cool. Not just from our region, but just obviously Europe and the AO side as well. And I just want to give a big thanks to everyone who's been coming out, been watching, have been enjoying the ride with us. It's been a really amazing year, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and I'm super happy I got to cast the last BRO this year. First time doing it. I didn't think at the start of the year I'd be doing something like this, and seeing all the amazing games that happened was really fun, and being here with these awesome commentators also is just really fun and awesome. Yeah, and I'll pass it back to Ty to close out.
All righty. Well, congrats to you as well, Deck Flare, for your first time out with us. Honestly, I you did a great job. Really, honestly, couldn't have done it without you. So we're glad that you're able to come through for us here. And yeah, I think Orange mentioned it too. We had like some swapping around. I remember all the way at the start of the year, we had Fuzzy with us on the NA side of things, casted V Premium with us, and now he's over on the EU side of things.
He's not American anymore.
Yeah, not American anymore. He's now become European. Fuzzy, I hope you're getting some sleep as well. He may very well still be in the chat. Who knows?
Those 3 a.m.s.
Yeah. And then we standard, like Orange mentioned back just a couple of months ago, and we had Tony with us then. Had very, very good time there. Yeah, just thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for all of the people hanging out in Twitch, watching and chatting, and thank you for Bushiroad for putting on the event that brought us all here together. It's been very, very enjoyable. It's been a very, very enjoyable year as well. So can't thank them enough. And I also just want to give a big thanks to everyone behind the scenes as well, because there are probably more people than you know behind the scenes making this thing run very, very smoothly. So a huge shout to them.
They did amazing.
Yes, we're very appreciative. We would not look nearly as good if it weren't for all of them there, and we wouldn't be here without all of you watching at home and participating as well. So I guess for one more time for the year of 2023 for BRO, I have been TIE Fighter. It's been very, very much a pleasure casting for you all, and I'll pass it off to you guys. If you want to shout yourselves out, where can people find you as we close out here?
Yeah, sure. So before I start, TIE Fighter, you can find him over on Twitter and YouTube under the weird name that he has right underneath him. So just try to spell that out. Good luck. Have fun with that. I struggle every week whenever I decide to look up something related to him.
You'll only find me if you type it that way, though. So
that's true. That's true. But I'm out of Orange. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, you name it. I'm basically on everything, and on all that stuff that's out of Orange, or there might be like an underscore or something, but basically just out of Orange. And that's me. And then Deck Player?
Yeah, so on Twitter and on YouTube, I go by Deck Player. I do like budget decks and stuff, try to help newer players just get into the game easier. That's most of the purpose of the channel. And yeah, if you like it, please come by. And now, Ty.
Yeah, and you can find me whenever I decide to upload. But that's going to be all from us. We will see you all whenever we decide to come back. I'm sure there will probably be another BRO. These have been way too fun not to. But thank you all one more time. That's going to be it from us.
Thank you.
We will see you next time. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.